Step one, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good soul food in you. Step three, grow hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo. I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts, it's a poison ride. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can spot all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time, is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself the foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Sorry. Step three, grow hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
True crime. We got a lot to go over this morning. I'm hearing there was some echoes. I did adjust. It's like every time I use the wizard on here to adjust, I haven't adjusted or calibrated in a couple days, and now I'm fearful that I've caused myself echoing. So we've been doing great for several days, and of course, you know, something's not broke. I decided to Cracker Barrel it up, okay? Cracker Barreled it up. So I think we're going to be using Cracker Barrel and a bunch of stuff from this point forward. And I'm actually going to start calling the unity the Cracker Barrel effect, because we're gonna have to use the Cracker. I'm listening to the people on TikTok, folks. I'm listening to the people on TikTok, and they said it's not right. They want Aunt Jemima back on the bottle. And I got several of them. Can we please have the Redskins back? So, you know what? I feel for them, okay? And I feel like we need to do the Cracker Barrel effect for Aunt Jemima as well as the Redskins. This ain't coming from me, folks, okay? There's a whole bunch of people on TikTok, okay, of every walk of life that wants this stuff back. Like I said, I think we created a monster. I think America realizes they're more powerful together than they are apart. But hey, you know what? It's a great day. It's a great day. Happy Saturday, folks. We do have some shocking finds. We have some shocking finds today. We've been going through this. Aunt Mom and Redskins need to come back. Yeah, well, I'm here, and I didn't even think about that. And then all of a sudden, we've got this push on, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that weren't down. I didn't realize it because everybody was just pushing. I figured there was one sector, at least at minimum, of our country that wants this crap changed. And I'm hearing on from people that don't think like me, okay? They don't think like me, okay? It's the other side, for me. And we have some in here for the true crime, and it's cool. It's cool. We love all. We love all. And I actually inspire everybody to raise their voice, not just the voices that I think that need to be heard. All voices, right? That's what makes America great. But I just assumed, like everybody else, that this stuff was just some side wanted it, right? Well, come to find out, no side wanted it. It was force-fed down their side as well as our side. I'm as shocked as you. So now everybody's pushing to have all this crap that they changed back. So, I would love to support nothing. Unity, I'm all over, folks, okay? We got a whole bunch of people from all different walks of life coming together. Hey, that's a great day. That's a great day. We'll say that. All right, we're not here for me and Aunt Jemima. We're not even here for the Redskins. Many of us probably don't eat Aunt Jemima pancakes or syrup, and many of us probably aren't watching football because we're too busy with our true crime stuff, okay? We are obviously true crime junkies, so it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for a whole lot else, right? So some of you guys manage to manage your lives a little better, and you guys can watch your football games and do true crime. Well, some of us we can't walk and chew gum, okay? It's Robin's like pancakes. I take it that is shocking for me. I think we need to change the show title. I mean, we are talking about shocking finds, but who the hell doesn't like frickin' pancakes? We've got one. We don't get to poke fun at Robin too much. We're gonna pick on her today. How the hell do you not like pancakes? No, I'm just joking. Some people can't eat them. I understand, for medical reasons, and maybe they just don't like the bread and sweet goodness and just ooey gooey goodness of a pancake. I get it, Robin. I get you're a little different, okay? We love different over here. We can handle it. I'm just saying we can handle it. We like your kind, okay? Even though we think you're a little weird, like the people that don't eat meat. Oh, I'm just joking. Okay, don't. I know we got some people. I don't want my non-meat eaters to come in here and start attacking me. It's just a joke. I promise. I still look at you funny. Okay, I won't lie. Okay, I have a problem. I can't lie. No. Love pancakes and butter. I know. Now we're all getting freaking hungry. Okay, Betty, get back. Focus, lady. Okay, I'm focused. All right, we're back at it. So we actually, after my live yesterday, giving you an update on Travis Decker, he's going to be something that my mouth is going to have to go, right? And so we're going to get into that. But before we do, we have a couple of other cases. We do have several cases that we are going to be covering. I'm sure you can tell by the thumbnail exactly what cases we're going to cover. But we also have some... Are we still talking about pancakes? Guys, the pancake breakfast is over. It's over. We're done. We're all hungry. It's all your damn fault, Robin. And I'm stuck here in this chair for at least 2 hours with a cup of coffee. I think we need a ban, Robin. We just need a banner. Just banner. Blocker, ladies. My stomach is now rumbling. All right. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. If anybody... I'm just joking. We need breakfast now, okay? What was I thinking? Thank goodness for the... Thank goodness for the coffee. Coffee will get me through. Hold on. Let me drink a gallon of this. Maybe it'll fill the belly up. Hold on a second, folks. Nope. Still thinking of them damn pancakes. I'm just saying. No. Good morning. If you are not awake this beautiful Saturday morning, you're just missing out. You're missing out on a lot, but more importantly, you're definitely missing out on some pancakes. But we're going to move on from the pancakes, okay? We're going to get back to true crime. We're going to get back to the gunk. It's always fun. Guys, we do have goals. Everybody's asking about, don't provide me, don't put anything toward the goal if you guys are going to be contributing to our secret project. We are doing a secret project. I'm only doing funding for the secret project live. And when this is over, you can't send me any money for the secret project because I need the $400 specifically for the project. And I don't want any dollar over because I don't want to find out where we're going to put it. Okay. So we're being very cautious with this fundraising. So more is not raised. We had a $400, it was $400. We actually raised a boatload yesterday. We're down to $225 on the secret project. We don't need to raise this all in 2 days. If you guys would like to, we can get it done and out of the way, which would be great. But we have 2 weeks to come up with this money, and I figured, we'd get like $20 here, $20 there. And then you guys showed out yesterday and raised almost half of it in one day. So I'm very, very pleased. The goals are just my goals, okay? If we have another project, and if I do a secret project, I would prefer going without anything to help the project. So if you guys, could only give $1 to me or $1 to the project, I'd rather you give the $1 to the project. Do you see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. The goals are goals. They're just goals for the channel. We love to meet those goals each and every show. But if we don't, and especially when we have these other types of projects, then don't feel bad. There'll be a goal tomorrow. There'll be a goal next week. So the priority, though, is our projects. This is a secret project yesterday that I told you guys about. I can't tell you anything about it until after the project is over. But it's not for me. It's not for anything to do with me going anywhere or anything like that. It's something completely different. But again, I can't tell you what it is until it's over, and you're going to have to trust me. Some people don't trust people. I get it. I'm fine with it. But the people that are here that know me and know my pedigree know that when I say there's a secret project that's not for me, but for one of our cases, they know that it's not for me, it's for one of my cases. So if you guys would like to blindly donate, that's about as transparent as I can be about the project. So if you do trust and you do want to help and help support, you're more than welcome to. And I promise you, you guys will absolutely, I know my audience, okay? Maybe not the new ones that are coming in, but I know my ride or dies in here. And I know that they would absolutely say, yeah, Betty. Yeah, Betty. Betty. Okay. So if you guys would like to be a part of that, please do. If you guys would like to help with the goals, please do. But there's a lot of things in my goals that are done for free, right? 15 subscribers per show. That's free of charge. Not one person has to pay for a subscription here. Sharing this show. Not one person has to pay. These are all things that everybody that's watching right now can do for me to help me reach my goal. So if you guys would like to, please consider doing so. But now we're going to get on from this and get back from the pancakes, get back from the coffee, get back from the happy, and let's go right to the crappy. Yay! All right, first up is oh crap, I forgot to set this one. I forget, guys. Just bear with me. I forget every now and again what the heck I'm doing, and then I forget to do this and forget to do that and forget to do a whole bunch of blech. Okay, so here we are. This is the story. As you guys can see, deputy father charged with abuse while 2-month-old in critical condition. Okay, whenever we're covering a baby case, it's kind of weird because I think it's an algorithmic thing that we don't understand. Okay, because it seems like when we're covering a case of a baby, like all news starts coming to us from around the country that has children in it. And I used to think that it was because this heightens something, or maybe people are looking in for researching this. But now I truly believe it's the algorithm. When our search history shows a lot of cases or a lot of searches for, say, a missing kid or a missing baby, next thing you know, the algorithm is starting to pick up all the stories and pumping them through to you about kids. I truly believe that's what it is. Up until like the last 48 hours, I didn't believe that that was the case. But now I believe that's the case. And I forgot to tell everybody, hi, good morning. We have a lot of people coming in. So when I do that, I don't get to say good morning to you guys as individually as I'd like to. So when I do have an opportunity to read a chat, and I see like 4 or 5 names, I'll just say good morning to all of you guys in a row so you know I'm seeing you. But at the end of the day, I just don't have time to go through and individually thank you. That's why I've been putting your little good mornings and stuff up in the intro so you guys can see that I see you and I'm saying hi to you. Every time I put one of your notes up there, I'm acknowledging you and saying good morning to you. It's just my little subtle way of saying good morning to each of you individually that are writing in the chat. So this child, this father, another one, it's like, these, I'm starting to get to a point where I realize that in our economy, in our structure here, we can't, we have free will. The people are the bosses, even though people don't, our government doesn't act like that sometimes. And we have very limited things we can do to people. We can't go and see, force them. I think there are some legal mechanisms, but it's very, very difficult and very, very costly to try to take somebody's rights to reproduce away from them. I mean, it has to be pretty stinking egregious, okay? And I know we've been bouncing around with some conversations, some controversial conversations about what could happen. But I think maybe simply, I think we need to make a requirement that parents have to take a parenting class. I think that that's optional right now. And many people, are getting their stuff online, but there's no, when you do stuff online, you can't confirm that the person that you're trying to be in front of is actually doing it, okay? We all know that in today's technology. I'm sure a few of us have taken a test online for somebody else, okay? I'm not going to lie, because I'm a normal human being. I'm an average Joe, and one of those things is talking to you guys from an average Joe perspective. I've taken a test online for somebody else, okay? So I know if I've done it, that somebody else has probably done it. So I don't think it needs to be an online situation. I think parents need to be required to take a parenting class when you conceive. I don't think that needs to be optional at this point. We have a lot of great parents, and you know what? Great parents won't mind being forced to take a class. And crappy parents, well, they're forced to try to at least assimilate to good parenting before they have the children. There's nothing, and even if the people that don't do it, then you take their child until they complete that course or some type of enforcement mechanism to force parents to take a parenting class. And this can't be a class that they, like the DUI crap, where they just make you go in there. It's absolutely a waste of time, and it's just a waste of money. It's not educational, okay? You guys know me. I will tell you like it is. I've been through the process of that, and it's a whole money grab. There's no educational value. Sorry, Mad. If you're going to do this to the public over alcohol driving and under, I'm fine with that. But if you're going to make them take all these classes, make it actually a lesson, learning. The crap, people are sleeping in class. All they're doing is paying the damn money. They ain't learning. They ain't changing their ways. It's not effective, is what I'm saying. It's not effective. It's just a money grab. So I will always say that, because I truly believe that. If I thought it was effective, I would say, look, I went through it. Look at me. It wasn't because of these programs. Okay. But I think if we're going to be force feeding, people to go take these ridiculous classes when they get a moving infraction because they've had a little too much to drink, and granted, it can increase. I'm not downsizing the reality. You guys know me. I think just abstain. Just abstain. If you guys don't know, I don't drink. And if I do drink, it's very, 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 very rarely. Okay? Like maybe once every 2 or 3 years, I might have a drink. And it would be in a social environment, not sitting at home in front of the TV. Or not because I'm into my feelings either. That's one of the reasons why I quit drinking, is because I felt that it could be a bad decision with everything I was going through at the time. So I'm just like, we're not even gonna play with it, right? Because I was going through such a hard time. You guys watched it. And so I wasn't even playing. So I just cut it completely out because I was going through I was scared I was going to find comfort. So knowing me, I just said, this is not good. I went out with my mom. I had a beer with her. And then after we came back, that was the last beer I had because I was going through a lot of emotional stuff. And I did that because, it's very easy, especially when your whole entire world is falling apart, for you to find something to comfort yourself. Well, I got to tell you, I didn't comfort myself in any stretch. I sat here miserable, okay? And you know what? I'm glad I did. And, but we do know that these things could help. If done properly, I think could help with this, because I think a lot of this has to do with not being prepared for parenthood, right? It's because a lot of people are living their lives and, they have their ways, they get up at this time, they go to work at this time, they go out with friends this time, and they don't quite grasp. They understand, but they don't understand. Their life ends. Like, you're up all night, every night with a baby screaming. If the child's hungry, they're screaming. If their stomach aches, they're screaming. If they're poopy, they're screaming. If they're wet, they're screaming. They don't know what to do. The only way they can tell anybody that they're in any type of discomfort is scream. That's their only communication they've got. And some people just can't handle it, especially ones that have other issues going on with them, either mental issues, substance abuse issues, alcohol issues. They have, anger control problems. These are all things that they need to be teaching parents to control, because what we're telling people is that if you leave that child 1 second, you're going to jail. And it shouldn't be like that, because I truly believe sometimes parents just need to put their baby in the crib and walk out of the house. Know your child's, but you don't hear people telling you that. You're told that is you go to jail. You will not go to jail first and foremost, and I think people need to start utilizing it. You make sure your child is okay. You put them in the crib and you go out. Do whatever you need to outside. Take some breath. Run around the house. Your child's safe. You don't leave the house, of course, but you leave the child and go decompress. Okay? You leave the child healthy in the bed safely, and you go decompress. Even if that child is screaming their lungs out, they're going to be screaming their lungs out when you come back in 5 minutes. It's not going to hurt the child, and it's not going to hurt you. But you being angry and feeling hopeless and helpless, and then taking this screaming baby and just wanting it to shut up, and that's what I think some of this is about. And I think with parenting classes, proper parenting classes, they teach them these decompression mechanisms that will help. Not everybody is equipped, okay? So is that something we can do? You know me, like I want, when people do this stuff, what I want their sexual organs, right? I'm a barbaric woman. What can I say? I'm a barbaric woman. So I want them not to be able to do this to another child. But, we're in America where, you have medical freedoms. You have a lot of stuff that the government can't infringe upon. So, even though it sounds like a great thing, could it be abused? Of course it would. And we don't want that happening. And if you give the government an inch, they will take a mile. So what is another less evasive way of handling all these parents? Well, I personally think that maybe forced parenting class. The good parents that are already nurturing will appreciate it, right? And may be able to meet some other friends or mothers that are also getting ready to go through, and then you kind of have somebody that they may have a connection with, they can talk about, motherhood with, some of the different nuances, with motherhood and stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like we as a society, obviously our Department of Children and Family Services, I know there's great people in the Department of Children, for people that have amazing hearts that didn't get there for the money, didn't get there for the benefits, got there because they really want to make a difference. Maybe they were in the system, maybe they were treated horribly, or maybe they were treated amazing, and know how important it is to have an amazing social worker there to help you. So there's amazing people. So I don't want my next comment to deter from the amazing, person aspect. But the Department of Children and Family Services is a failure. Okay, it's a complete shit show. I don't think that anybody really has any positive anything positive to say. I've never heard somebody say, I am so thankful to the Department of Children and Family Services for saving my life. All the people that have went through the program, been in foster cares, even went to college, they talk about a horrible, horrible system. Even the ones that make it, they talk about this horrible system. So I know that there's good people out there, so I don't want this deterring those good people. But at the end of the day, it is a colossal failure. And I don't think that we can say anything of other than that. Yes, we could, guys, come on now. Sandwich, absolutely. We could list names. We could just list names for days. We could literally take an entire 5-hour show and list every single person that has been negatively affected by the Department of Children and Family Services. I bet you we could probably do an entire show every single day for a solid year, maybe more. So the next question is, how do you fix it? The government has had ever since 1969 to use the system, see how the system is working, make modifications to the system, adjust the system so it's beneficial. And you know what? They haven't. There's still rules in place from 1969 related to the Department of Children and Family Services, and I find it appalling. They've never even touched it since they set it up in many cases. They add new rules, but they've never changed the interstate work related to it, and that's the communication and cooperation from state to state. Like, I think we should have a national database of shitty parents. That every time a parent goes in that has been accused and cited for any type of crime, not ones that had cases closed and were perfectly fine, and there was nothing to ever report, and they never heard from the Department of Children and Family Services again. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people that there is a clear negligence, endangerment, abuse, in a wide variety. I've been talking about this stuff for years. That we need a national database. So when those people change their driver's license to that new state, because we have state jumpers, so they get in trouble with the state over here, say Wisconsin, okay? And so they get in trouble in Wisconsin, and the people in Wisconsin are getting ready to take their children. So they ass up, move out in the middle of the night, and they go over to Illinois. Well, now Wisconsin has no jurisdiction over in Illinois. Nobody even knows this family moved to Illinois, even though they've went and rented the house, changed their driver's license, changed their mailing address. There's no notification going to the local children family services alphabet soup of it that notifies them that these people just moved in and they need to do a home check. That's the kind of system that we should be having in 2025 here in America, okay? And we don't. And you know what? We're freaking 40 years or 50 years from having that system. That to me is a major, major problem and setback in our ability to help these children and to keep track of these children that are in these really, really bad homes. And we have, some states do the Department of Children and Family Services work better than other states. But here we are, and every single day we come in here and we hear another story like this: a baby in critical condition, a baby in critical condition, a baby in critical condition. And we come here and we talk about it, and we talk about our activism and our advocacy, and we get no help from politicians. When is the last time we've heard a politician literally not only just talking about the issues in the Department of Children and Family Services, actively working to fix it? None. I haven't seen none, except on their little flyers. But then when you go and look at their stuff in Congress, you realize that they're fighting over farmland. Okay? That's a future issue for me. The farmland, yeah, we got to monitor that. We got to make sure that we have food supply in this country, and that is a national interest. That is a public interest problem, and I get that. But so is the abuse and the death of hundreds of thousands of children across this United States that nobody is considering. I'm glad we finally got our government to understand what trafficking is and all the stuff that goes along with it, and actually starting to save people. But think about how many years it took for the activists of these trafficking organizations. How many years did it take them to finally move the needle? This is why we do this every single day, all day, every day, is because it takes that kind of activism to move the needle. We never know what person's going to stumble across one of these shows either today or tomorrow. And so we have to bring these problems and these matters up. But again, I'm gonna stop and I kind of went on my soapbox about Child Protective Services a little too long, but we're going to be here for a while, folks, because I've got a quite the show lined up. We're going to hear a commercial. I'll try to get you through the commercial quickly.
Hi, Mom. If it wasn't for you and your study habits, I wouldn't be here.
I don't know about the music, so I got to be careful. And since it won't let me move this over until 5 seconds. Okay. We're getting close. Skip. Now I've got to turn the volume on this one.
Two-month-old baby in critical condition is now being accused of abuse.
We brought this story as breaking news yesterday morning when the baby was taken to the hospital and was in cardiac arrest. Now, officials say when the child was being treated, they discovered injuries consistent with abuse. The baby's father, Brandon Rollback, was arrested. He's charged with unlawful conduct toward a child. We're still working his mugshot. As of this morning, the baby was in critical condition.
Huh. What? Oh, it must
Hi, Mom. If it wasn't for you and your study habits, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow. That right there says it all.
Give me a second. I don't know why it's echoing this morning. Let's see what we got here. So, I think it's echoing because of this one. No, I think it needs to be off. Okay, let's check this out. Let me redo this. Let me know if the echo, yeah, it's echoing bad. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna let it play. Let me tell me if I did I should have went through here and checked it. They changed all my settings this morning when I configured it.
I was in my 50s when I decided to pursue my master's.
Is it also, I think we need to get all of these muted off. Can you guys hear me? Yes, it still is. Okay. It looks like my monitor is off. Okay, now let's check it now. Sorry, I want to fix this.
With my experience, I was approved to go into the competency-based master's degree that only took 1 year. And
it sounds like it's fixed on my end. Okay, you guys can hear me. Did you guys hear that without echo? Do you need me to play it again? I'm going to play this again and let me know if you hear the echo or not. Nope, still there. Huh. Let's see what we got here. Still echoing. Okay. Huh. I had it on. It played twice. Okay. I'm going to turn this back on, and it might do the same thing. Oh, good gracious. I may have to take this off and then I may have to take the browser off and just reopen it.
And it didn't take away.
It's echoing in my ear right now, but let me put this on. I'm going to have to fix it. Hold on a second.
From my everyday life. For my kids to speak highly of me, it means the world. It means the world.
Parental Sports Night has been played for several more hours later today, but their fans are kicking off their celebration a little early.
Yeah, Palmetto Sports reporter Ella Grogan had problems.
Okay, let me check the last little bit. I just made the last change. I'll take the browser completely off and reset it if I need to. Let me see where we're at. Give me just a second. I'm gonna mute my microphone so you guys don't hear like squealing. It won't let me because I forgot. It won't let me rewind on my live. Oh my God, this sucks. It won't let me because There it is. Okay, let me just play this and see if I can hear it. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to have to play it and listen so I can figure out what the problem is.
One of the most fun assignments today. She went out to the Tigers.
Okay. Listen. So I can figure out what the problem is.
One of the most fun assignments today. She went out to the Tigers.
Okay, yeah, that's the browser. All right, let me reset the browser. Give me just a second. It's going to take a little bit. And there's nothing I can do about it. So let me just delete this one out. Sometimes I have to do that. I should have checked it this morning, but oh, good gracious. Okay, cancel. Let's set up a screen capture. Yep. Okay, we'll do new SC. Second. Window. All right. Let's see if we can fix the issue. You guys have to wait with me. There's no easy way to do this stuff. So you guys are just going to have to wait with me while I set it all up. All right. So let's see if this has a problem or not. I don't know.
There's annual First Friday parade.
Clemson fans celebrating First Friday ahead of the day.
First Friday parade.
Son of a biscuit. I don't know what is going on with my audio. I may have to just turn my mic off when I'm doing this because I think it's coming through my mic. Oh my God. Let's not do that again. Holy shit. I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. I may have to end the show and do this later. I don't know how to take the stuff off. I really don't. I guess I'm going to have to mute my mic. And I'm going to have to mute my mic. Monitor and output. No, monitor off. Monitor only. Do you have another window open? No. I surely do not. At least I don't think I do. Let me take this off and just might as well check that out. Hold on. Turn this off. Let me check that out. Make sure I don't have anything open. No, I don't have anything open. Not my channel. Not like it's rewinding. It's definitely something with the system. It's something that I did when I set up the when I configured it this morning. I can tell you that it's definitely something I did when I configured it this morning. But I don't know how to fix it now. So I'm just gonna. I guess what I'm gonna do is just mute my mic. and hope and pray to God that fixes the problem. I don't know if it's going to fix the problem or not, but there's going to be a few of them. If it does, then I'm going to have to figure out the problem, and then, because like even my right now my mouse is jacked up. It's moving all over the place. It's having problems. So let me get this down here. Right here. There we go. Now I'm back up. So this next case is actually a Facebook case. There's a beautiful little baby right there that is missing, and missing because of this child's, I would think that this child's biological mother right there, I believe this child was taken from her, and she may be with this child, but you know, I used to not pay attention so much to these parental abduction cases. But now I'm paying a lot more attention to them because we know that these parents are offing their children. We had one where a girl was thought to be with her father, and we were searching for the father. I kind of looked past it a little bit, and it was the Travis Decker case. And I thought, you know, a father, he just wants to spend more time with his kids. And then come to find out he unalived all three of his children out there. And we're going to be touching on his case just right after this, I believe. And so then I started really focusing, you know, we can't make that leap that, you know, the system is against these parents. There's a reason why they're taken away. And a lot of the times it upsets me because I've seen this horrible reality in the Child Protective Services where they take these children away from parents that are struggling, but the ones that are really bad seem to always be able to keep their children. So it's either they're professionals at lying and deceiving, or, you know, they're looking for the wrong mechanisms to take children away from the homes, because there has been so many times I've met parents, I've heard like one lady, in granted, not good. I'm not giving props, you know, that somehow this shouldn't be, but it was marijuana. They were smoking marijuana in a hotel room and their children were present. Now, granted, I don't think that you should be doing that in front of your children. But out of all the other things going on with our children, that is like the lowest man on the totem pole that I'm worried about with Child Protective Services. Because this is the same county that took a black woman's child from her because of marijuana, yet Leilani Simon, a white woman, in their hospital giving birth to a child addicted to much far more significant substances, and they let that baby leave with the mother. That baby ultimately, and 20 months later, lost his life by the hands of his mother. And where I met this girl that told me about her story with the local Department of Children and Family Services in Chatham County, Georgia. So I think that the system is wrong all the way around. But could this woman hurt her child? The answer is yes. You know, maybe yesterday I would have said, you know, we need to look for her, but, you know, I wouldn't be so, I wouldn't see the urgency there yesterday. Today, I see the urgency for any missing child, whether they're with a parent that has been removed the rights or not. I used to have a bias or a bleeding heart that, you know, sometimes the system really screws with these families and they just want an extra 5 minutes with their child. And I think as a parent, as a mother, you know, if you were put in a situation where you didn't have your child or you felt like you weren't seeing your child enough, you might go to extraordinary circumstances to be with your child in situations like that. So, you know, but at the end of the day, if it was just like that, we wouldn't have, you know, kids like the Decker kids, you know, and we have to pay attention to these parents now when they take off with their children, and we assume that it's just, you know, they just want a few more minutes with their kids. Sometimes they are mentally ill and will take their children out before taking themselves out. Gwen says, Betty, I've worked for CPS. At one time, my supervisor would never send us rich neighborhoods like gated communities. Ended up quitting after I realized why children were dying. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what we're dealing with in Sumner County. And we're going to be getting into that because it's nonsense. And we're all seeing this. And how can our government, if they're paying attention, right? If our politicians that we're paying are paying attention, how are they not seeing what the rest of us are seeing? It tells me too many of our politicians are getting their jobs, sticking their head in the blessed stand, getting along to get along in wherever they're at. They're not rocking the boat. They're not bringing these issues up. And all too often, we keep repeating the same freaking cycle over and over and over again. When are we going to get sick and tired of rinsing and repeating? You know? So this is a lady. This is the child. Let me read the description because I know you guys can't see it. It says, endangered child alert. We need your help to find Ashton Franklin. So the little boy. I thought it was, sorry, I saw a beautiful little face. I honestly thought it was a little girl, so pardon me. It is a boy named Ashton Franklin. He's 1 year old, 2 inches, just a little thing too, not even 3 foot tall, 20 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He was last seen with his biological mother, Christine Franklin, near Berry Hollow Road in Speedwell, of course, Tennessee, probably one of the worst states for the Department of Children and Family Services. Christine is 30-year-old woman with brown hair, hazel eyes, was last seen wearing an oversized gray t-shirt and pink shorts. If you have seen Ashton or Christine and have information about their whereabouts, you're asked to call Claiborne County at 423-626-3385 or TBI 1-800-TBI-FIND, which we find out that every time we have a case with TBI FIND, the ones that are more difficult, they never quite close. So we also have a teen missing for 17 months found in Florida. Again, calling to find out what's going on here. United States Marshals, and it's important that marshals are involved because we need to keep saying that because Eric Craddock, the dick of Sumner County, the crad dick of Sumner County, he turned down marshal help. He turned down the marshal's help. And as you can see, they're really good about tracking people down, especially children. So this child was recovered by the U.S. Marshals after being missing for nearly 17 months. According to the release, April 2024, a 15-year-old girl was reported missing from Cocoa Police Department. They then requested assistance from the U.S. Marshals Service. Oh, wow. An actual law enforcement body that's proactive. Imagine that. And that proactive department, of course, is right here in the state of Florida, because we condemn our law enforcement when they hold on to cases instead of moving them up. We condemn them as a public. You know why our laws they're not the best? And there's a lot, there's still areas that don't enforce them like they should. I'm not going to get into that. But there's a reason why we're tough on law, because we make our politicians be tough on law. Okay? It's not that they get out and they say, "Oh, we want to work harder." Right? They would like to get nothing. What does it say? YouTube not responding. Am I having an error in YouTube? Are you guys hearing me? Open studio. Give me just a second. Let's see what's going on here. I think I'm having some type of errors all over the place. Studio. Give me just a second. Okay, no. It looks like I'm still rolling. It's saying I got an error in the studio for some reason. I'm having some technical issues for you folks today, and I'm having some major lagging issues as well. So we'll get through this process, guys. Just bear with me. Let me get through this story. So we have a 15-year-old girl that was reported missing from Cocoa, Florida. They immediately got the Marshal Services in to start searching for her. The Marshal Services ended up finding her, and they have reunited her with her family. Okay, let me get this stuff off here. I hate news articles. It's all these news articles and all their movements and stuff like that that really lag down the system. So let me try to get all these out of here real quick. Okay. So this is the information about Lilly and Jack Sullivan. So what I'm learning from Lilly and Jack Sullivan is that they have a report out. So the RCMP submitted a report to Move this out of here and over here. They submitted a report to the courts about the investigation of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. So I wanted to read this with you because we have not discussed this. And there is some interesting finds in this article. So newly released court documents are revealing previously unreported details of the investigation into the disappearance of 2 young children from their home in rural northeastern Nova Scotia more than 3 months ago. Including in several documents are the initial impressions by police of polygraph given to the parents of 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, and confirmation that investigators found a second piece of a blanket that they say belongs to Lilly in the trash. The information is contained in a court applications filed by investigators for permission to conduct searches for phone records, banking records, and video related to the case. The documents included unproven statements made by police. Those documents were released to the Canadian press and other news outlets. Many of them contained redactions. According to one document sworn by Corporal Charlene Jordan Curl of the RCMP's Northeastern Nova Scotia Major Crimes Unit, the children were first reported on 10:01 a.m. on May 2nd. We've always wanted to know what was the specific timing that they were reported. So if you guys are doing your timeline work, the specific time for the report, the call in, the first call in, 10:01 a.m. On May 2nd from their home in rural Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, by their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray. Malaya told police, okay, I can't, hold on just a second, let me move this over, I'm having problems here. So Brooks told police she believed the 2 children had wandered away from the home, but the exact time she said she thought they went missing was redacted. Police were on the scene by 10:27. Call comes in at 10:01. They were on the scene in 26 minutes. Some of you guys are doing timelines on this. 26 minutes for law enforcement to arrive from that initial phone call. That's quite some time. 20 minutes, normal times, 7 minutes and under, but they were all the way out in rural Nova Scotia. We used to have those problems out in Myakka City here in Manatee County. It was a very rural area. We didn't have any services, fire department, police officers out there. People had to man their own properties. A lot of people that are on this, no pew-pews, no guns, no second A amendment stuff, they don't understand. They live in cities. They don't understand country life. They don't understand not having officers show up. They don't understand not having fire departments. They don't understand that. And other people do, because it was my uncle that developed and ran the Myakka City Volunteer Fire Department, which ended up being a Manatee County Fire Department. We acquired that, and my uncle was the longest standing fire chief in our county history. So these things, in my opinion, I would have liked to have seen some more, especially 26 minutes. They should have had some type of voluntary system out there to send somebody. I'm sorry, 26 minutes is a really long time, but I digress. The documents say the last time the children were seen outside their home was May 1st, when they were captured by video surveillance at a local Dollarama store with Brooks Murray and Daniel Martel, the stepfather. So now we know exactly where that they were seen. A lot of people didn't know. They were seen at Dollarama store on May 2nd, and we learned, they didn't say it was in New Glasgow, but that's what we heard when the report was kind of, not a whole lot. They just said that they saw them in New Glasgow as a family, and we didn't know when that was or what that was or where they were. Well, now we do. At Dollarama. RCMP conducted at least 4 polygraph tests during their investigation. The first 2 were on May 12th. So 10 days after this happened. with the children's parents at a detachment at Bible Hill, Nova Scotia. Martel's polygraph indicated he was truthful, as did for the test of Brooks Murray, that found she was truthful when answering specific questions. That is a very interesting detail, folks. So she's saying, let me take this off. So they said they were they used word salad here. They used word salad here. So they said that Daniel, first of all, I'd like to know if substance abuse tests were taken before these polygraphs. That's, you know what, I'm sorry, if you're taking a polygraph, you should piss in a cup, because we know medications affect the polygraph, and they, even like heart medications and stuff like that, they need to know about that. Because it could change your physiology, and they have to use that as a metric when determining stuff. But I'd like to know, because we know Daniel Martel as well as Malaya, there has been allegations. We obviously weren't there. We've never physically seen them ourselves utilizing any substances. So we're taking somebody else's word for it. So it's not a factual statement. If we had multiple people coming forward saying that they've seen these people either sell or use, then we can say that is a fact. We have enough corroboration to now make that a fact. We don't have that here. We have rumors that they had, but nobody that really has said, yes, we know, unless on shaming, criming shame, I think it is, criming shame maybe. She's a Canadian true crime podcaster, and she's really kind of had a really good connection with some of the family, some of the people associated with this case, close to this case. They may have had, because I know that they had... not Haley, what was it? Cheryl. They had Cheryl and Logan. And Cheryl is obviously Malaya's best friend, and Logan's obviously Daniel Martel's cousin. Now, there were reports that Logan acknowledged that she knew that Daniel was on these substances. But I can't remember if that's what was a post, like from somebody else. But I have not specifically heard, myself, heard Logan say she knew her cousin was utilizing these drugs, or Cheryl saying that Malaya was utilizing these drugs. So we don't know. We're hearing the rumors. We have to keep that in the back of our head and keep, in case we hear something else that might support it or confirm it as fact. But we do have that in the back of our heads. And so when they say, as did Brooks Murray, Malaya, they said that that found she was truthful when answering specific questions, although the list of questions is redacted in the document. Well, they should only be asking specific questions. That's my problem. Now I'm starting to think about this polygrapher, the person that you can't commingle questions in when you're taking a polygraph test. Do you know where Lily and Jack, do you know where Lily is? Do you know where Jack is? Because you can't even put them both in the same sentence. Because what if she knows where Lily is, but not Jack? So you literally you can't commingle these questions. I know this for a fact, without a doubt. I know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. So when they said specific questions, that concerns me about how this polygraph test was administered, because they have to be very simple, one question questions. Do you know where Jack is? Do you know where Lily is? Have you hurt Jack? Have you hurt Lily? Did you murder Lily? Did you murder Jack? Those are very simple, not complex questions. Those will give you the best results on a polygraph test, period. The absolute best results on a polygraph test. Sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you. Let me go here and just see where your comments are, because it's covering up your comments, because I had to pull it off so I could read it. Because I had to monitor my system, because I was having some real technical issues, and I believe it's because I use printed, not video material on here. Those printed materials, like from the Washington Post and all that other stuff, they gunk that stuff up with all of these advertisements that are just running, and it's pulling the bandwidth from your computer, because the ads are just spinning. I think it's gotten ridiculous. Like, who wants to go to somebody's channel that has to deal with that? They've got to find a better way to do this. I know they need to make money, But they've got to find, I think they need sponsorships. They need to be doing this stuff and putting advertisements where they're paid a sponsorship fee instead of gunking all this crap up with all this advertisement that's useless. Anyways, more complaints from Bullhorn Betty. More complaints from Bullhorn Betty. Oh, I see everybody saying good morning. It's nice to see you. Show the article. I'm trying. It's hard for me too because I've been having so many technical issues here. But let me see if I can get this up. Okay, let me change this to this article real quick. And then we'll change it back. There it is. Oh, well. Well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Gotta love this. All right. We'll get the article up one way or another. There we go. Okay, there. Hopefully you guys can read it. Okay, so so the RCMP, this is the area that I was talking about on here. Right here, they say Martel's polygraph test indicated truthfulness. As this is where I'm having a problem with the way this is written right here, because I know a lot about polygraph tests. We've studied them. We went over them, especially just recently with Sebastian Rogers' case. You know, we definitely understand what can affect polygraph tests, which medication's one of them. Different things like using tacks on your feet. It's amazing because it's picking up sensation in your body, you know, where it's supposed to be elevating. So there's certain things that you can do to alter those things, including things like when they ask you a question, like we learned all this. When they ask you a question, you can say like, were you born in Nova Scotia? And he may say yes, and then he'll say, oh, no, I was born in Lansdowne. And just saying yes and then no can folly that testing. So we know we've studied these polygraph tests. We studied how to properly administer them. We've listened to FBI's talking about how important it is not to commingle questions. You got to have very straight, very simple questions, like the ones that I indicated to you. Right? Some of the control questions will be, is your name Malaya Brooks Murray? She may say, yes. Oh, no, I've removed Brooks from my name. It's just Murray, you know? So they can play with the test a little bit if they've studied it. And I know Daniel Martel was on the internet quite a bit. You know, he was on the internet quite a bit, and he was the one that brought up he wanted the polygraph test. I guarantee that man had already looked at it if he wanted to. Now, I'm not convinced. Daniel Martel, I don't like the guy, okay? I don't trust him. I think he's manipulative. This goes a long way, but again, with this statement, now I'm questioning Daniel Martel's polygraph, because how... She was found truthful when answering specific questions. Unless I'm misreading that. I could be misreading that in them saying she was only truthful on specific questions. And maybe it's written poorly. So we have two different things here. But the polygraph test, I'm not going to put a lot of weight in it. It's not admissible in a court of law. It's a tool for law enforcement. And I'm concerned about, you know, because they had to fly somebody in there. And how good were they? What were the questions? I want to know what the questions were. They simple questions or compound questions? If they're compound questions, forget it. That polygraph was useless. And anybody that is a polygraph administrator will agree with me. It is all about the questioning, the specific, and I've always questioned that even with Chris and Katie Proudfoot's polygraph test. But you see, law enforcement in Canada comes out and gives you the answers. This is what I like about this is the way it should be right here. In my opinion, this is the way it should be from our government. You've been working this case XYZ dates. It should all be in the light. It should all be in the light. There should be no secrets or anything for the defendant either. You know, this should all be in the light. We would never have this information without somebody being arrested in this case, if it was in the States. And I like this. I think this is beneficial to everybody. Everybody. Because if you're going after a suspect, you're going after them regardless. But anyways, I digress. An identified investigator commented, including the end of the section, on the results of both of the polygraphs, saying at this point in the investigation, Lilly and Jack's disappearance is not to be criminal in nature. So law enforcement has said basically this case defies logic. Statistically, you don't ever have two children disappear at the same time. Kids that like something else happened, these kids aren't out there. So when I hear about the next section, which we're going to be hearing about, it is starting to make sense. And I keep wondering, did law enforcement out there miss something? Did law enforcement out there miss something? Because Lilly and Jack kept talking about abduction. Okay? They kept talking about the abduction theory, that there was a possibility of this abduction. And now we're hearing some other stuff. And it says a drug test. Yes, drug test, and make sure you have nothing on them, like balls under arms. You know, so they try. Yeah, exactly. There's so many things that can affect. That's what the reason why these polygraph tests are not admissible is because of these things, because people can't alter them. There's no, like, it is a science to a degree, and I do believe that they get a bad rap because of the defense attorneys. They've been successful, but they're still a good tool being utilized because they're effective. They also have a different type of polygraph test, and it's not a polygraph, it's called something completely different, and it's similar to the polygraph test, but because of how they do this specific test, it is admissible in a court of law. And I can't remember the name of it, but it is some type of test that is similar to a lie detector test, but not, that is admissible in a court of law. And I don't understand why people don't utilize it more often. And we've learned that, and I can't remember what case it was that I learned that on. I think it might have been Brooks Houck in Crystal Rogers' case, actually. If I had to pinpoint it. I'd have to think that. All right, let's get back to this. Thank you, guys. So Martel told the Canadian press on May 28th that he had passed his polygraph test, but RCMP declined at that time to confirm or deny his claim, which I still find a little odd. So it may even be that they didn't trust the polygraph test, but because this is a court document, they had to put it in the court document because they have to be truthful to their courts. And so maybe that's the reason. And I wish this stuff right here would be required from the United States. There's a few things that, this is the first time we've been in Canada covering a case. I know nothing about Canadian law. I know nothing about, this, that, or the other. But I can tell you, I like this. I do like this. There's no confusion. There's no misunderstanding. There's no speculation. There's no causing problems. In this was a worldwide case. We didn't hear, the RCMP, completely scream and shame social media. They did say, something about, being careful about misinformation and stuff like that. But for the most part, that was to the extent of what was said. But I'm a little wishy-washy as to why they would refuse to confirm that at the time. But the results from the polygraph test, which measure the fluctuation in a person's sympathetic nervous system as they answer questions, are not admissible in Canadian courts, but the machines are considered an investigative tool. So they're using the investigative tool, which many of us are very familiar with law enforcement doing that. Meanwhile, on June 10th, let me see if I can get this up further. I hate this little rolly thing. Meanwhile, on June 10th, the children's step-grandmother, Janie McKenzie, went under a polygraph examination, but another document notes that her physiology was not suitable for analysis, and an opinion on the polygraph examination was not rendered. So that tells me she was on, some type of substances, in my opinion, Move this over just a tad. There we go. In my opinion. So what does that mean? That's interesting. So she couldn't be tested. The children's biological father, Cody Sullivan, went under polygraph test on June 12th and passed the examination with his answers to be found truthful. So let's look at this. So they say his is truthful. What did they say about, what did they put in quotes for, what's his name? Hold on a second. Indicated he was true. See, they put this, look at how they do this in this article. Indicated he was truthful. That she was truthful when answering specific questions. You guys see the word salad here? And then they come down here and talk about Cody and just say truthful. So I believe Cody Sullivan was truthful, but I believe that there were some other indications that there must have been something going on with the mom and the stepdad's polygraph test, even the way that they've explained it. It doesn't seem like they're looking at Cody Sullivan at all, because they said his was truthful, and they give extra language. They don't say that, they don't say Malaya and Daniel are truthful. They use other words, and truthful's added in there, but they're saying Cody was truthful. Not a thought in the world. Truthful. So now it comes back to the parents. But we have to remember RCMP says that they don't believe any foul play is involved. But I don't know if I can agree with that because of how long it's been. Because we know that they are good at finding people. The RCMP is not finding what they would normally find in a case like this. So that would have to mean, in my opinion, that one, the parents aren't being truthful, or they were being truthful and the RCMP didn't believe them and screwed up this case because somebody abducted them. This is kind of getting a little saucy, y'all. I think the Lilly and Jack case might heat back up. I know it's kind of died down a little bit, but if what I'm hearing in reading here is true and accurate, Very Happy says, but not criminal. She placed them somewhere, in my opinion. Oh, well, that might be. Maybe some of those rumors we were hearing about Malaya, I didn't believe it because it seems like Meadow would have been the one that was kidnapped, not her other two kids. But if she wanted to get out of there, and we have heard information that she wanted away from Daniel. Maybe it is hopeful that these kids are still alive, because RCMP was the one that came out and said, look, folks, we don't believe they're with us any longer. But I don't know. We're about to get up to the part where it starts getting a little wonky, okay? So in July, the Mounties said they were running forensic testing on the pink blanket found during the search of a heavily wooded area near the children's home. What about those people that were working on their car in the weird middle of the night? There's got to be other creepy people out there as messed up as Daniel and Malaya. What if one of them from their neighbor? Because we've heard it before with stranger danger abductions that it could be a neighbor, right? To be honest with you, I'm side eyeing the neighbor in the Beauty Queen, John Benet Ramsey. The best friends and the neighbors of the parents. They were the first one there. It's believed to be that the one guy is the one that made the call the night before to 911. I believe that 911 call was to see how quickly law enforcement would respond to a house. I see a lot of things differently than all the other investigators have seen in the past or indicated in the past. And when that 911 call was always bothersome, but everybody passed it off because it ended up being his drunk best friend, you know, where they had the house where JonBenet got that bike from. And other people think it might be the homeless guy or the church guy, you know, but I always thought that this case was unsolved because somebody was missing something. And I've always believed, you know, it's always closer to home. Now, again, I know that the Lore Lodge believes it was the Ramseys. I know that the deception detective believes that it's the Ramseys, and you guys know me. I love both of those people and value their information like no other. Okay, I love the Lore Lodge. He's very thorough. I love the deception detective. Again, very thorough. And both of these people that I highly respect and regard are totally against my thought process when it comes to the JonBenet Ramsey. So it shows you right there that we can have differing of opinions and still have respect for, you know, their profession and what they do. I just disagree because I think that some things that I consider red flags are being dismissed as not red flags. And so I want to explore those a little bit more, but haven't. You know, I need to do some research, and I've been meaning to, but it's been, I did the intro. We've got two major documentaries, there we go, documentaries that I am going to be producing, and you guys know which two those are. It's Summer Wells as well as JonBenet Ramsey. I've already started the intros. Summer Wells is further along than JonBenet, but when I was out there last time, I recorded myself. I did not check my recording. It was horrible. Not the words that were coming out of my mouth, just the actual recording. It was horrible. It was all face, no body. And when I blew it up, it was like you saw nothing but face. And I'm like, I can't use that. It's done. I can't use it. So I've never been back out there to re-record those initial statements, and I've got to go back out there to record them in order to finish up the Summer Wells documentary. And then we'll be moving on to JonBenet Ramsey. I stopped, well, there's a few reasons why I stopped Summer Wells, but Ramseys have been cleared. Ellie botched the case and I absolutely believe that's the case. Absolutely, without a doubt, hands down believe that's the case. So let's just get back to Lilly and Jack. But in July, they say that they confirmed the blanket, but released few details about it. The newly released documents shed more light on that part of the investigation, saying 3 family members found the blanket. I don't like that. Okay, it seems like a setup to me, just personally, whether it's Malaya or Daniel, I don't know. But they say the 3 family members found the blanket in the tree on Lansdowne Station. I think that was Cheryl that found that, if I'm not mistaken, on May 2nd. So they did find it on the day they went missing. I thought it was the next day on May 3rd, but it was not. It was on that day. So that at least makes me feel a little more comfortable. Exactly 1 kilometer from the family home, a photo was shown to the mother and the stepfather, who confirmed it was Lily's blanket. So why was it over there? Why was it over there? And so RCMP can't have it both ways and say that there's no foul play, but have all of these things that, to me, are screaming foul play, either by the hands of Malaya or Daniel, or by the hands of some third party, unknown third party, like a stranger danger that they immediately dismissed early on in the case. Maybe they dismissed it so they could investigate that spot, with that portion of the case, without people being ultra focused on it. It might have been a strategy of law enforcement out there to deceive us without specifically deceiving us. Well, I guess they would have specifically deceived us if they specifically said that there's no abduction, and there really is an abduction. Later, police dispatched a sniffer dog to the area where the blanket was found, but the animal was unable to pick up the scent of Lilly and Jack, the document says. So that even further supports me thinking that it was planted. On May 4th, another piece of blanket was seized by officers after they found it inside of a trash bag at the end of the driveway of the children's home, according to police. Police say they confirmed both pieces were part of the same blanket. Who threw it in the garbage? It's somebody close to that family. It's somebody close to that family. Either them or somebody else. I mean, I don't, how many, the cluster of boot prints, allegedly, there wasn't a cluster. I only heard there was one lone boot print right where Malaya was standing when she was talking to Janie, and one lone boot print over by the pipe, whatever pipe that they have, the pipeline. That's what I heard. I never heard of a cluster of boots. I've only heard of one boot print, one boot print one area, one boot print another area, and then a torn pink blanket in another area, with the major part of it being in the bottom. Okay, guys, you heard that? In the bottom of the garbage can. A pink blanket is not going to open a lid, tear a piece off, blow it a mile down the road, and then it's showing I'm good on this end. You might want to refresh. Did they check the blink? Yeah, they said it went for testing. And they said they didn't confirm any more about that. They did check the blanket for DNA or fingerprints. What it was said here is that it did go for testing. I think I might be further down than I need to be here. Okay, both pieces. Sniffer dog, the documents, piece of blanket was seized by police officer. It was found inside at the end of the driveway. So they seized it. I thought they said it went for testing. Newly sheds more light on the blanket in the tree, which was exactly 1 kilometer from the family home. Okay. Well, it doesn't say anything specifically about the testing. I would think it'd have to test, because they did say that police have confirmed that both pieces were part of the same blanket. So that's about as much as I know. I don't want to assume that they've tested it for fingerprints and DNA, but I'd have to think that they would. But there's no guarantee on that. Well, if it's a direct link to the kids, I would think that they would. But yeah, it's still an assumption. I don't know. Among the numerous court orders sought by police was one for the, oh good gracious, what is it called? Cobequid Pass? Somebody out there would know if I pronunciated that right. It's a tolled section of the highway in Nova Scotia. Specifically, the RCMP were looking for video records, including closed-circuit footage of all cameras of drivers leaving Nova Scotia. That's a weird date and time. Leaving Nova Scotia from May 1st, 2:25 p.m. to May 3rd at 3 a.m. They have really reduced this area, which is interesting. So I am assuming, I'm going to make this huge assumption, and it's not fact. It's an assumption. Don't take it as fact. That May 1st at 2:25 was probably the last time that they saw the kids on closed circuit TV. That's what my assumption is. My other assumption is that they believe that there was some type of something going on after they left on the 2nd. That's what I'm assuming. One of the other documents say that on May 3rd, police received a report that Jack and Lilly might be with their biological father. Police received a pair of messages about this early on May 3rd. The reports noted the caller, who was unnamed, did not have proof and said she wanted to make sure every possibility is looked into. According to the record request from Cobequid Pass Toll Plaza Vids, Malaya later reported to police that she thought Cody Sullivan, Lilly and Jack's biological father, might have picked them up and taken them to New Brunswick. She's never seen this man since she walked out of the door, but she's pointing right to the man that chose to walk away from his kids. And it wasn't any indicator that he had changed his mind about that. Police later met with Sullivan on May 22nd. The court document said he told police he had been in a relationship with the mother but had not seen her nor the children in 3 years. He said he paid child support, contrary to what Brooks Murray told police. So he's been paying his child support, folks. Wow. So now we know where some of the money came from. It came from Cody. I wonder if Daniel and Malaya were living off of Cody's money for the kids. That'd be a damn shame. Taking care of their family by Cody. I'm interested in that. That's new information. He said he did not know what happened to Jack and Lilly, police noted. He was home on May 2nd and never goes anywhere. He has not been anywhere other than his house recently and has had no contact with Malaya since the children went missing. The documents say police had received hundreds of tips in the case, including one from a witness who said she was traveling with her son on the morning of May 2nd and saw 2 children walking along the side of the road. Natasha Haywood informed the RCMP on May 31st. That was a long time after this. So this might change things because she did not inform the police until May 31st, which is almost, damn near a whole month after the children went missing. So RCMP would have never had this information when they believed that these children weren't abducted. Wow. They may have wasted an entire month, folks. And these children were literally abducted. This is concerning for me. She describes seeing a young girl holding a boy's hand. That sounds just like Lilly and Jack. And I'm sorry, some people are not good at telling what a child's age is. I'm one of those people, okay? I'm one of those people that will look at a child and I don't know what age they are. But I'm the opposite. I underage them, not overage them. So I always think they're younger than they really are, which is weird. But some people, I would have to think if I'm like that, some people would be just like that the other way, you know? They are in debt. She tells the family members, the family tree, thinking no big deal. She has full custody, made up a disappearance, possibly. You see kids walking and don't stop. Well, we're getting to the point where they seen them walking to a car. It didn't seem like they were scared. It didn't seem like the person was running up to them and kidnapping them. It seems like they pulled over to the side, opened the door. If this was Lilly and Jack, it seems like whoever was there is somebody that Lilly and Jack knew. You know? You're not going to call 911 if you see 2 small... She didn't see them walking by themselves. That's not what she saw. I never finished the sentence. She actually saw them walking toward. Let me finish reading this and you guys will understand. Hold on just a second. Let me finish reading this out loud. We stopped at the wrong spot. So Natasha Haywood informed RCMP on May 31st. She described seeing a girl holding a boy's hand. The boy had dirty blonde hair and the girl and was wearing shorts, which is what they were described in. The girl had darkish hair with pigtails and was seen wearing a tank top with blue strings. According to police, she said the children were walking toward a Caucasian female, 50, 60 years old with loose curl haircut, who was waiting next to a passenger side of an older model tan or gold sedan with the back door open. So it doesn't sound like these kids were walking by themselves. It seemed like when she's passing by, she's probably thinking that this is their mom or their grandmother picking up the children that are walking to or from the bus stop. I don't think it was ultra suspicious, but I'm still concerned about how long it took them to come forward because I'd like to know who this Natasha Haywood is, how she's associated, if she's associated with any of the family members, because there's 2 things going on here. She either didn't realize these kids were missing and just found out about it and remembers, well, there's 3 things that could happen. And she remembers this event and the event truly happened on the 2nd, or she does remember an event that didn't happen on that day, Or lastly, because of how long it's been, almost 30 days later, could be trying to help one or one or more family members deceive or take the attention away. Because remember, it was always Malaya and Daniel pushing this abduction theory. So it could be true. It could not be true. 30 days to come forward, that provides me a little concern. How long it took somebody to come forward. But that's why I wanted to read it to you, because I wanted you guys to understand it didn't look as suspicious as it originally sounded. Their story is a bunch of BS, Betty. 100% they're actually like the Haros. Oh, yeah. Well, we do definitely feel that way. But all this new information is a little concerning, because you can't have these children missing this long, search the area they could have possibly traveled, not find the children, and then say there's no foul play suspected. This is foul play. This sounds like foul play. How can you not suspect foul play? Right? I mean, you can't have it both ways. They disappeared. If they got rattlesnake bit, fell off a cliff, whatever, they've searched the area. They should have found something associated with these kids, but they find a pink blanket a kilometer away in a tree? Are they trying to say the kids climbed trees and got stuck? I mean, what are they trying to say here? But you can't have it both ways. And they're trying to say it's both ways. There's in my reality, you can't have this both ways. You can't have children missing. You have searched the entire area and not find them. Multiple searches and can't find them on top of the surface. So how can you say that this is not foul play when you can't find the kids that should be right there? If it's not foul play, they should be right there. They couldn't have gone anywhere else. So I'm hearing that law enforcement doesn't believe there's foul play, but I'm also reading how they're using creative languages to explain the polygraph tests in the most positive light possible. But it's still much different than the statement that they made about Cody, which we know is not, has nothing to do with these children. They said truthful, not mostly truthful, not with specific, like truthful. That's the statement for Cody. So because that was much different than how they explain Malaya and Daniel, I have to believe that they do not find anything remotely interesting with Cody. Yes, and Robin's reminding us, the RCMP said early on that the kids were deceased and that they are in the woods. Searched for hours and days, the woods, and they could not find them, but there's no foul play. It doesn't make sense. You can't have it both ways. So I'm interested, and maybe I'm missing something, and maybe you can have it both ways. Maybe there's just something that we don't understand. There is that possibility. But they believe that this woman was in her 50s and 60s with a loose curl hair. Do we have, that could have been a wig, for all we know. The documents say that early June, police met with the witness near the corner of Gairloch and Lansdowne Station, where she mentioned having seen the children walking north on Westville, Nova Scotia, and that the vehicle appeared to be waiting for them. And they walked right to they were talking about holding hands and walking right to the car. Guys, these kids would not do that if they didn't know who that person was. Even if these kids weren't Lily and Jack, the way that they're describing it is whoever those children were knew that woman. So, Haywood. Wait a minute. What was that Dingleball's name? That interject himself in here that we found out was like Malaya's uncle or cousin or something. Wasn't his last name Haywood? you guys remember that guy? The older man, white hair, glasses. He was, speaking. Durwood. How ironic would it be for him to have the name Durwood and her to have the name Haywood? We never really knew who he was, did we? We never seen a driver's license from him. We only found his real name out on social media, and he could have changed it on his profile. That's awfully Durwood Geddes. Oh, the last name's Geddes. Okay, maybe that's not it. Okay, I thought that was the last name, not his first name. Okay, maybe not. Wait a minute. I heard something wood somewhere, okay? It sounded familiar, but now we know his name was Durwood Geddes. So, okay. All right, that makes me, I was just, my senses were starting to start squawking at me. I needed to find out what was what. Okay, so when she met with police, she said she thought the girl was 9 or 10 years old. The boy was 5 years old, the document says. But she described them almost to a T, except Lilly with the spaghetti straps, the blue spaghetti straps, as opposed to the shirt that he said that she was wearing. Investigators are working to find out if the children were indeed Lilly and Jack, the document noted. None of the tips so far led to Jack and Lily's location. I have to believe, if this is true, and this woman did see this, folks, if this woman truly did see this, then that might be something. It might be something. That was interesting. I found that whole entire article very, very, very interesting. I think it raises more questions than it answered, because now we have questions about the polygraph test. We have questions about, a possible abduction now. Now they're not, it didn't seem by the end of that conversation. Aw, hey, Queen of Hypes, it's nice to see you. Thank you. Oh, let me get to I didn't even see this. Oh, we got some fan funding. Oh, look at that. Thank you, guys. SRK, thank you so much. Melanie, thank you. Thank you. Nitwit, I appreciate it. God bless you guys. Bless you. If you guys would like, we're doing a secret project that we can't tell you guys about. For the rest of the show, if you guys would like, make sure if you do put anything in Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, it is notated and it says secret project. If you do any type of super chat, make sure you indicate that it is for the secret project. Right now, we started with 400. We're down to 225 that needs to be raised. 225 that needs to be raised. So if you guys choose to do that, during this live, after this live, you have to notate it, because I get funds from different sources. And so the way I do it, once this show's over, I don't want money sent, because we only collect during show times, okay, for this, because I don't want any more than what we need. And I don't want to find out where we want to put the money, this, I don't want to do all that. So we just need 225, so I'm only doing collections for the secret project while we're live on the show. So when the show is over, do not send anything. Even if you guys are watching the replay, if you want to do it, thank you, Gwen. Thank you. So we're down to 205. Okay, 205. Let me write that. 205. Oh, thank you. 205. What is that? 195. We're down to 195, folks. 195 for the secret project. 195. I'm running out of paper. Hold on here. I got to turn my paper over and put it at the top of this one so I make sure I calculate it right. So what was I at? I don't want to make a mistake. 195. Okay, we're at 195. Thank you guys. I do appreciate it. And like I said, it is not for me, but it is for one of our cases. And I know that you guys will absolutely approve of this without a doubt. But I just can't tell you what it is. So I appreciate all your love, all your support, but please only do contributions during showtime so we can calculate it. I don't want any contributions once these shows end. If you guys did send it to Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, please notate that in the chat or something so I can make sure that we say it online here so we get the new calculations. I would greatly appreciate that. Yesterday, I did calculate all of the other forms of funding that you guys sent, and we calculated it in real time. So please, please, please just follow the rules. It makes it easy for everybody. Venmo, okay, let me see. Because it is just one of the weird, we don't do this kind of stuff very often, but when we do, I'm just very, 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 very specific. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. So we're down to 185 right now. 185. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the love and support. Okay, so let's get back on this. Now it looks like we're going to probably be moving on into Travis Decker. Travis Decker, as many of you guys know, he had visitation. Oops, hold on, let me move this up. Did I not? Oh, good gracious, these things are killing me. We'll figure it out. Hold on here. Let me figure it out. Where's my things? There we are. Oops, no, we won't. Oh, good gracious, this thing was huge. How the hell did it get that big? The whole screen just went like 15, like it's like 18 million screens of mine. I think we're getting close. We are getting a little close. I had to scroll this down a lot. I don't know how the heck that happened. Let's see how this looks so I can adjust it now. There we go. That's where it's supposed to be. Look at that. Who knew? Who knew? Let's get those off. So this is Travis Decker. Travis Decker, you know, for all of us, to me, I believe is a monster, okay? This is a man, a broken monster. I don't think he intended to become a monster. It's just that I do believe his wife, when his wife says that or his ex-wife rather, Whitney Decker, says that he's broken, okay? Oh, who's this? Oh, thank you. Did Sonia put... Oh, thank you, Sonia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Secret project, secret project. We're down to 175. We've already crossed over our half milestone mark. Thank you, guys, for your love and your support. If people want to know what my contribution is, it's 30% of 400. So if you guys... I don't even know what that is, but that is my contribution. Is 30% of 400, which is, so if you guys want to know what my contribution is, it is $120 toward this, because that, I know it sounds crazy, but that's the Bullhorn Betty channel's contribution to this. So for those that think that I'm not participating in this, I am. $120 worth, okay? So I just wanted to let you guys all know that. just so it's fair. We have full transparency here, okay? So I'm also contributing to this secret project, okay? I'm also contributing to this secret project. So thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Okay, so guys, I ran a story, you know, a very minor story yesterday, just giving you guys a brief update on Travis Decker, because I was going to do Lily and Jack yesterday afternoon, which I ended up not doing. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. Bless you. Bless you, my love. Bless you, my love. Why is it going down? There you are. Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So we're at 173. Love it. Hey. Like I said, most of these, I put a $5 limit on it, but you see our audience, they don't listen to me. $5 or less to come with the boy. They didn't listen to me. They ended up, they were getting excited about the secret because they know me. They know it's going to be good. They know it's going to be good. So anyways, we came across here and I gave you guys an update. They closed down Leavenworth. You guys know I was much different in my avocation for this case as everybody else. Oh, thank you, the real me too. Yay, we're down to 163. 163. Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I had always went against kind of the normal. I did go over everything that the sheriff Mike Morrison was, I think it's Morrison, Sheriff Morrison. I think his name's Mike, but I might be wrong. Was telling us. He's the Chelan County Sheriff's Department. Excuse me, the Chelan County Sheriff. And so he was, on the manhunt because he thought he had a manhunt. And I took the unpopular position of, I believe this man's deceased and I believe he's within 5 miles of wherever. I started about 2.5, but then I expanded that to 5 miles from where he unalived his 3 beautiful children. And I've kind of maintained that. Oh no, I was saying to 5 or less. You got it with 2. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Karen. Thank you. Oh, 163 or 160. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that at all. Thank you so much. So I have always maintained that I told my audience, we covered the manhunt. We made sure that everything that the sheriff wanted out to the public, kind of like we did in Emmanuel. We read all the San Bernardino post and everything like that. We make sure that whatever law enforcement wants out there, we do put out there. But I also say I don't agree with them. And this was a case where I just didn't agree with them at all. I thought they were looking for a man that wasn't moving. And so yesterday I told you guys something a little different. I was a little disappointed because I was almost and I told you guys that, I was confident he would be found. I was confident he was in 5 miles of that where the campground. And when we read the article yesterday, it basically indicated that they did find some stuff that they needed to send off to to have tested, off to the lab to have tested. And I'm like, well, I guess, they did 1 million square miles. I definitely believe that covered my 5 miles. And I told you guys yesterday, I guess I'm going to have to, accept he truly is on the run. And then after I got off the live, some people started sending me, they had just finally updated the public about some of the things they found. We only knew items. That was what was placed in the article. It just simply said items. They found items that they need to send for testing. But yesterday afternoon, Jennifer, what? Jen, good morning. What happened to you, Jen? I'm hearing everybody say, Aw. I'm so sorry to hear that, love bug. I'm so sorry to hear that. We had a person that means a lot to me just had her father pass too, and it's hard. It's hard, you're never prepared, even if you're expecting it, like they're battling cancer or something like that. The pain. I'm so sorry, love bug. I'm really sorry. Well, you got a lot of prayer warriors in here that's definitely going to be putting you in their thoughts and prayers, and I will definitely tell you that, I pray that you guys have comfort. That's one thing that's always missing in pain is comfort, and you never quite get it, but we'll still pray for comfort for you. And I pray that all good memories, that's all you ever see and hear from this point forward is just those amazing things, that your dad did. I know my dad, I'll never be prepared for my father. I thought I was going to lose my father, years ago. And me and my father's relationships kind of deteriorated over the years. So, I'm kind of preparing myself for stuff. Oh, thank you. But it's never easy. Thank you, Kathy. So where are we? Hold on, I opened the wrong app. Hold on a second. Let me open this. I got it. Okay, I got Robin. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's get on with this. Well, what I was trying to say is that we ended up finding out that they found bones. So this is making me hopeful because I went through a lot of psychological analysis. I went through a lot of statistical analysis with him. I just did a lot of different types of research with, now there's no telling that this is him, but this is making me a little hopeful that oh, there you are. Okay, I didn't say it. Oh, thank you. So now we are down to $120. Thank you, Lisa B. Always. I didn't see it. I saw it and I didn't see it. I only saw Robin's, but I had to refresh. So I got yours. So we're down to 120. Amazing, guys. This is amazing. We're down to 120. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and stop that for now. We'll pick the rest up either later this afternoon or sometime tomorrow to give I appreciate all the help. If you want to contribute throughout the show, you can. Just make sure you notate it that it's for the secret project. It has to be notated for the secret project. So we're down to $120. We started out at we started out at 400. We got it down to 225, and now we are here as well to 220. I'll go ahead and put these $2 in here as well from Eeyore, as well as Kathy. So we are down to $116. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So let's get here. Let's read. Let's find out what we've learned. This is interesting for me, guys. If this ends up being Travis Decker, I'm going to be elated because I'm not going to be, I knew it, law enforcement was wrong. It's just because I worked so hard to analyze this guy, to try to help, to try to determine where he could be, where his path of travel would be. I don't know anything about this guy. Oh, you don't? Oh, Vicky, we got to go through this. Oh, good gracious. Hold on. I got to get a video up for you. Hold on, let me take this down. This is heartbreaking. This guy had a visitation with, let me just give you some background. Let me put his face back up there. I know enough about this. I don't need to show video. So he picked up his children for visitation. His visitation was wildly reduced because he lost his home. He was in the military. He had a wife, went overseas, fought a war, came back completely broken, had a lot of mental stuff that comes along with the war. They tried to work through it. Finally, Travis Decker petitioned for divorce because he had gotten physical with his wife. He knew that he felt like he wasn't worthy of his family. That was really why he decided, not that he didn't love his wife, not that he just felt unworthy, and he started spiraling out of control a little bit. He did become a reservist or something like that, a National Guard, I think, National Guard Reserve, and so he was getting compensation from that, but something happened at his job there where they didn't want him to come back. So he went from like an $80,000 job, then he was trying to work, and he was going through the divorce, he was trying to pay child support, he was still just declining. Now he lost his home. Now every time he picks up his kids for overnight stays, they're having to go camp. And so they finally took his overnight stays away from him. And so he was still able to see them on the weekend several times a week. And I think it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for about 4 hours. Oh, thank you, Nitwit and Hot Damn. So we got 2, brings us down to 14. Now I'm going to have to get a calculator out because I don't know if I can do 50 from 114, which would be 64. Okay, so we're down to $64, folks. We're about to meet our goal in this show. We're down to $64. $64 to have our budget funded. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. God bless all of you. I do appreciate it. Then he got into a wreck. days before he was going to pick up his children, and it sounds like just the day before he went to go pick up his children, he was in another wreck. The problem is both of these wrecks, he did not have automobile insurance. So now he's looking at having his driver's license eventually taken from him. So that means he's never going to see his children. So all of these things were spinning out of control. And he picked up his kids. Now, was this planned? Did he just snap after he got his kids and went out to the campground and just was like, this is not good. You know, I love my kids. That's the one thing that Whitney's always said about him. He has always been good to his kids. She knew more than anything that he wouldn't hurt the kids intentionally. She always had that confidence about her ex-husband. But she knew this day something was wrong. He was always there. I think it was 8 o'clock he had to come back and bring the kids, maybe 9 o'clock. But I remember, I think it was by 9 o'clock when he didn't return back, she was frantic. She was absolutely, utterly frantic. And law enforcement didn't take it seriously. They thought he was just late dropping the kids off, and how detrimental that assumption was for law enforcement. And she was fighting with them, fighting to get them to take this seriously. He's not back with the kids. Something is seriously wrong. She knew something was seriously wrong, and she was trying so very hard to get this across to law enforcement, and they never, ever, ever issued an Amber Alert. They found the children, I believe, this happened on a Friday where they weren't returned. It went all weekend. By Monday afternoon, they found all 3 of the kids bound and with grocery bags over their heads. And they were deceased. And he was gone. The dog was there in the truck locked up. All of his belongings were there, his wallet, his cell phone, everything. He had been suicidal, I think, for a really, really long time. And I think this all just kind of, my super stickers and super chat are both for the secret funds. We trust you, BHP. Thank you. So we are now down to $59. I added them, by the way, because it didn't say anything, so just out of an abundance of caution, I went ahead and added them to the, if I don't know, I do add them to, that's why I try to have you guys mark them off, but if it's during the show and we're talking about that, I'm going to add it in to the bottom line, because, you know, it's really we got this show for other people anyways. It's really for other people. If we can do what we can do and help, we will. So thank you so very much. So let's listen to this.
Search for the dad. The FBI.
That's right, I can't. We have echoing. I can't show you guys any of the videos. We got nothing but freaking echoing on here. And I don't know how to get the echoing off. I really just don't. Actually, you know what? Let's go through it. Guys, thank you. Gwen says for my autistic daughter who says she can't. Thank you. So we're down to $39, folks. $39 for full funding. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Let's play around with all of these, okay? Let's see if we can get the echoing to stop. There's only 3 options here, so certainly we have to have an option that works. So let me put it on monitor and output and see if this helps, okay? I don't know if it will. Let me know if it's still echoing.
Says killed his 3 daughters and then vanished nearly 3 months ago. Agents say they found several items.
Because it's echoing really, really bad for me. And I'm gonna have to do this again. Is it still echoing? Let me pull my stuff up. Love your profile. Yeah, but right now we're having so many technical issues. I haven't had technical issues all week, and I did a calibration of the system because I kept hearing some, it do something with my songs, my intro songs in the morning. Bad. You know what? Let me turn my mic off. Maybe. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I guess that was pretty, because of when I turned the microphone off. You guys don't know, you need to listen to me then. Let me turn my microphone off and see if this fixes it.
In a new search for Travis Decker, including bones. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. It has been nearly 3 months since this horrible story started and we first learned the name Travis Decker. Decker was the dad to 3 beautiful little girls. 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia. You can see who they were in these pictures and just get an idea of the joy that they brought into this world. Decker, their dad, was an Army veteran. He had experience in the outdoors, which perhaps explains why, since the end of May, no one has been able to find him. Not the U.S. Marshals, not the FBI, not the local sheriff's office, or the countless volunteers who have helped in the search. And the truth is, still, the FBI says it is unclear if Decker is dead or alive. This week, the FBI closed off parts of Rock Island Campground in Leavenworth, Washington, to search for clues that could help lead them to Travis Decker. And I'll get to what items they reportedly found in just a moment and what it means in this manhunt. But let's go back to June 2nd, when
The things that we don't like. That's the bad part, is I'm gonna have to be muting myself. Oh my gosh, I hate this. This is gonna be back the way we were on day 1. That's the way it's gonna be back when we were on day 1. I had to constantly take my microphone off. It was drowning through it. Some type of setting behind the scenes. I don't have the ability to fix it right now, but I promise you it will get fixed eventually. But that's all we're going to do for that portion of it. I wanted you guys to hear that. But they found bones out there, okay? That's the news. They found bones. I believe those bones are Travis Decker's, because I've been screaming it from the beginning of this case. Go back. They kept moving the search further and further away. And I identified the Brian Laundrie case and this horrible strategy and tactical decision that they make in moving the search when they haven't thoroughly searched the area that they were. And at the end of the day, it sounds like the FBI came in there and methodically searched the area, which they needed to. This is why it's so important when we want cases handed over to the FBI, because they literally have the ability to turn over every single stone. Aw, thank you, blue-eyed Brit. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bless you. Bless you, my love. Bless you. I appreciate it. So we have a situation where it just screamed. It screamed family annihilator. It screamed, you know, he had all the self-harm indicators on it. I'm not taking a victory lap yet because we don't have the DNA back on these bones. And I heard that there were multiple bones. So one, they couldn't determine whether they're animal or human. The other one, they said, looked like somebody had, you know, maybe taken some medication or OD'd out there in the woods. That could be indicative of him, you know, leaving and then, you know, going out, kind of in the theory that I had. That's what it looked like. So I'm kind of very hopeful. I'm not taking a victory lap dance yet because when we were searching for Brian Laundrie, we found like 9 missing people searching for him all over the country. And this might be where they may have found another person that's been missing for a while and may have nothing to do with Travis Decker. So hope it's him. I hope it's him too, love. I do hope it's him because I want this to be over with. I want... Whitney's never going to be able to overcome what she went through, but it sounds like she has a great support system. It sounds like she's got great counselors and therapists that are helping her, and I know for a fact she's going to do great things in the honor of her children. She just looks like a great mom. I don't see her sitting on the fence line. We were able to raise close to I think it was $1.5 million for her. And she's going to be taking that money, I'm certain, to get herself situated so she can start building either a nonprofit organization in her children's name. But I'm pretty sure she's going to take what she has gone through and try to help somehow, because that's really all you can do. You either take the tragedy and find some positivity for the tragedy, or it's just going to eat you up. Those are your only options. Those are the only options I've seen in these cases. We can say, oh, there's this, there's that, but I'm telling you, yeah, you know, theory and fact is definitely different. So I've watched these cases, you know, completely take somebody down to a low that they've never ever known before, or they've turned it around and really inspired others. And it's just, you never know. It's a flip of a coin between parents. Some parents that you think are going to really be able to take their tragedy and turn it somehow into positivity ends up just like finding a bottle somewhere and drowning themselves in it, and they don't really find a way out. So I don't think that's going to be her. Thank goodness. But it's a reality. It's a reality. So many of you guys know about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It's been all over social media that Katie, Chris, the Bauer Sox, they don't want any avocation for their son. They don't want to promote their son. They don't want to let people know he's still missing. They don't want any reference of that son left. What is the question? How much is still needed? Oh, Lisa, we are down to, after the $5, I think we're down to, I put the $5, $34. We're down to $34 for the secret project to be fully funded. And then I still have to contribute my $120, but it's fully funded, $34. So that's where we're at. So the Pig Fest is I guess something that they do in that county. Maybe every year. It sounds like we have a what do we have? We have the Music Fest. We have chili cook-offs. I don't think we have anything called the Pig Fest, but I do believe we have something something really close to the Pig Fest here in Manatee County. And it's just you buy the tickets, you go in, they have different little things, crafts, you know, vendors and stuff. You can walk around. They have, you know, this meal, probably one of the best tasting steak meals you could have. This is a Pig Fest barbecue, you know, something like that, barbecue. Maybe the best barbecue you had. So you buy tickets, you go in there. I think the tickets for the food ticket for you to get your food. I don't understand how it goes on, because we typically have music fest with our food. You're listening to music while you're eating, and you pay one ticket price and you go in, you use the whole shebang. So I don't know if it's like that or not, or if it's just, you know, you go there at a specific time, eat your dinner and leave, which I don't think it's going to be like that. But either way, somebody, and I still don't know who it is, but it's obviously a lady, but somebody wanted to pass out flyers and didn't think it was a big deal, and that, you know, what are the rules? So of course, in an abundance of caution, She reaches out, and she was smart enough to know that the Parks and Recreations would be the one that's overseeing a park event. So she reached out to, this is my understanding, I haven't talked to this person. Obviously Lolly has, and Lolly's the one that broke this case, this situation wide open. So she had asked, and they specifically said, you have to get permission from Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, and the Bowersox. First of all, the Bowersox have nothing to do with what goes on in Sebastian's. This is politically motivated. This is corruption at its finest, where they're worried about the suspects in the case, not the innocent father, not the victim. They don't care about the victim. You know, they just want to make nice with the people they got to look at every day. Oh, thank you. It was $34, so we have an extra $5. So don't send any more money. We got our money, and I'm over $5. I'm over $5. We funded. We're fully funded. No more secret project. No more secret project money. We're fully funded on the project. So we're just going to thank you guys. Give yourself a round of applause. I just want to show you, like, I came here yesterday morning and I talked to you guys about the secret project. I gave myself 2 weeks to come up with $400, and we raised $400 in 2 days. Congratulations, guys. Great job. Great job. And Pebbles is reminding us, please don't forget Sebastian's change.org. We need everybody. If you have not signed that, please consider going out there and signing it. If you're on the replay crew, look into the live chat right now and push on the link that you see on the screen before you. If you're on the replay crew, you got to go to the live chat option and click on this link to get this. You know what, Pebbles, can you DM that to me on X, the link, and I'll make a post, a public post. I know I probably made one before, but I'd like to make it a new public post for the people. If you guys can't get into the live chat, you guys can go over to for the people that are in the live show. This is not up yet, so don't go over there. But for those that are on the replay crew, go over to my post. You should have a link if you can't find it in the chat. Okay, so yeah, thank you. I'll get that put up in my post, so anybody that comes across the replay can go over to my post and find the link. Okay, that'll work. So we found out that this director of Parks and Recreations was actually meeting with Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot for lunch that day. Maybe it was just Chris. Maybe it was both. I don't know. It was still at least a Proudfoot. It was either Chris and or Katie. So what? We've got county officials now advising the public to reach out to private citizens for permission for government property. Nothing to see over here at all. Nothing to see over here at all. Sumner County, we can't even stand you, let alone having to go and ask people that abused a child for permission to pass around the missing flyer of their missing child that they disappeared. We're going to them to ask them permission? Have you lost your flippin' mind? I would like this park, maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe Bullhorn Betty needs to call down to the Park and Recreations and ask this Yahoo what in the he's thinking. I would like to know what capacity that Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, Kathy Bowersox, or Terry Bowersox has anything to do with public business in that county. Do they work for the county? Are they receiving funds from the county? Are they supporting the county? Are they giving funds to the county? Are they paying for them not being arrested? Because the appearance of impropriety in this county is glaring. It's glaring. Let me tell you, Sumner County, I will not ask Chris and Katie for permission to do jack shit on your public property. And I'm going to tell my audience, if they want to pass out blessed flyers on public property, they can. And if we have to sponsor more attorneys for your blessed county, by God, we will. If we need to take the whole damn county, your rotten, stinking county, to federal court, we will. We're over it. No, we will not ask these assholes permission. We don't even want to ask you permission because you're part of the a-holes. So let's get it right. Let's get it right. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about and why I'm screaming in the mic, it's because of this nonsense right here. This nonsense right here. Let's get the bigger one up. There we go. That. It says, a sub called about setting up a small table and passing out flyers of Sebastian, Mr. Gilly. So Gilly is the person, Mr. Gilly. Remember that, guys. Mr. Gilly, Gilly. He is a government employee. He works for we the people, not Sumner County. We the people pay for his money. We pay for their salaries. They get federal funds. That means they serve everyone. So, it says that Mr. Gilly told her that he was going to lunch with the Proudfoots. And he would have to have their permission along with the Bowersox permission. And then it would be up to the Sheriff Craddock. No, it's not up to Sheriff Craddock. I've proved that point. It's not even up to the frickin' judges. You know why? Because I've already proved that point. What did I say? What the hell do you think your attorney, your judges, or your sheriff's going to do to Bullhorn Betty? I follow the law. I do it with skill. I always have my cameras running. And they tried to intimidate me, but guess what? Bullhorn Betty's free, isn't she? She still comes back in that county. She still stays here in the state of Florida. She still does hashtag Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Katie Lynn Proudfoot. What did they accomplish? A whole bunch of nothing because they're a bunch of failures from the top down. From the top down. So if you want to go out there and pass out flyers, we will go ahead and get an attorney on retainer. Or maybe I'll use some of the money for a retainer. We're going to have to do something, but do not trust any attorney. And I'm going to tell you this. If you live in Sumner County, you need to be getting your attorneys elsewhere. All those Sumner County attorneys are commingled together, and they will slice your throat to keep their reputation with a judge. They have no integrity whatsoever. At least that's my experience with Terry Frizzell. If you guys, I would tell you, I was ready to file a malpractice suit against him. That's how bad it got. I opted not to because I got enough things going in. He's very, very lucky, but I'm going to trash his name. And Terry Frizzell, if you want to sue me for disparaging your name, you can do that right here in the state of Florida. I welcome you here. I welcome you to my stomping grounds, you piece of shit. You are...
Warning, bullshit alert.
They're corrupt in that county. Everybody's corrupt. He tried to work with the state attorney to shut my mouth, and I said, I'm hiring you to keep my mouth open. So he didn't want to play games, or he didn't want to play ball, he wanted to play games. So I would say if you're in Sumner County and you need civil help, I would run from Terry Frizzell's office. Literally run. He damaged me. He's lucky he's not being sued by me. But maybe if I trash his name enough, he's going to get those big balls that he didn't have for me to come down here in Florida to sue me. And I welcome him doing that. I welcome him doing that. He is probably by far one of the worst attorneys that I know in Hendersonville. And not only that, he used to be law enforcement in Hendersonville. So that should tell you right there. You got a crappy attorney that came from law enforcement, and law enforcement ain't doing shit for this case. That should be your first telltale sign that they've had criminal problems in their county for a long time, because it's a good old boys club. They only arrest the people they want to arrest. They let all their friends walk, even on disappearing a child, which could possibly be a homicide for all we know. And they're just buddies with people that could murder a kid. You know? And I just don't get it. And that's the sheriff and the corrupt politicians all throughout Sumner County. That's sad. That truly is sad. So let's finish reading this up. So so they have to first get permission from the mother and the stepfather, which the mother and the stepfather haven't even been involved in this case. They've hidden, lied, whatever they've done. They're not a part of their son. They haven't been to any rallies. They haven't been to any vigils. They haven't been to any search parties. They have done nothing but talk about their feelings and how they're being treated. They could care less whether Sebastian lives or dies. So we're supposed to ask these people that don't even care about this child, and you would think that parents would be, any opportunity they had to put their child in front of a whole entire community, they would. Because you know what happened is Layla Santinello's mom, we ended up marching in the rain in a parade with her daughter's flyer on there, handing out missing person flyers at a family-friendly parade. Not the happiest bunch of the crowd, right? They didn't really like it, but they didn't say nothing about it. Because parents that are missing their children are always actively looking for their children and always trying to put their children in front of the public as much as possible. So what would be the purpose that Chris and Katie want to hide their son from the public? Why do they want to continue to hide the fact that their son's still missing? Why do they want to continue to bully people and not talking about these horrible things that they've done to their child? It makes you wonder, and then why would a sheriff's department of all people, the one that's supposed to protect that child, that failed to protect that child, want to protect the parents that hurt that child? It doesn't make sense other than corruption. Prove me wrong. Let's keep reading. So she emailed Craddock, and he said he had nothing to do with the Pig Fest. Mr. Gilly and the park and rec director sent a reply email saying, no, they cannot do it. So he asked Chris and Katie if they can pass out flyers of their son at the lunch, and he was told, no, they can't do it. Well, I'm sorry, you don't control me, you don't control the people of that. Mr. Gilly, I don't really give a rat's ass what your title is. If it's public property, you should be upholding the constitutional rights of the people in your community. Because I can guarantee you would rather have whoever this person is passing out flyers than Bullhorn Betty rolling into town and passing out the flyers, no? Because I will come there if I have to. I will pass out those flyers if I have to. I will record your officers harassing me. I will file an injunction against your state, your county. So I would think that everybody wants to take a chill pill, realize Chris and Katie have no rights to say anything about county business. They're not county employees. They don't own that county. And you work for everyone, not Chris and Katie. So let's get some facts out there. Empower you guys so you guys can make right decisions. Don't go out there being boneheads. If you're going to be out there, always have a smile on your face. People have questions, answer them. If you don't know the answers, don't guess. Give them somebody that knows how to answer those questions, or ask them to reach out to, say, Tony or Seth or somebody else if they have any information. If they know something, don't have them reach out to Sumner County. Give them the FBI number. We're not sending out the official FBI flyer or the official Sumner County Amber Alert flyer. We're going to use the FBI flyer because that's who we work with. We don't work with Sumner County. Sumner County's shit. So we know Sumner County's shit, and we're not going to work with them. I don't know who that is, but that looks like his uncle. Somebody sent that to me. Here it is. At this time, we're not authorizing any outside vendors or distribution of any materials at the Pig Fest other than those who were sponsored at the event. Well, good. Andy Gilly, we're happy to. I'm happy to get people outside of that facility. Out there on public property, and no, we're not going to be asking permission at all to go to the school. We don't need to go to the school. We'll be fine right on public property where we're supposed to be, where we don't have to ask permission. I don't ask permission anyways. You guys know me, I don't ask permission. When I come there and they say you got to fill out a form, I call every single law enforcement. I said, what's the purpose of the form? They said, so we know you're coming. I said, well, I'm on the phone with you. You know I'm coming. I'm not filling out a form. I'm not going to fill out a form to exercise my constitutional rights. It's not happening, okay? My constitutional rights, and when I read the Constitution, it doesn't say reach out to the county and fill out a form. It tells me I have a right to do this on public property. Now, I'm giving them the courtesy of letting them know I'm coming. But taking my time and filling out a form, yeah, I don't do that. I'm a political activist, okay? Everything I do is activism. Everything I do is letting the government knows that they work for me, I don't work for them. Okay? Everything I do is tact and strategy, tact that I don't have. So Justin for All knows, because when we were out there with Sumner County, what did I do? I reached out to the state police, the local police. They told me, well, you need to fill out this. I said, for what? I said, I'm telling you, I'm going to be there. When we arrived, guess what? They had a state police that escorted us around to make sure that we were safe, to make sure that the public was safe, and to make sure nobody did anything wrong. And when we got to the Department of Children and Family Services, they politely explained that we can't be there at the entrance because of the, kids come in there with a variety of issues and we have to protect their privacy. So because he explained it and he gave us an alternative, like you can't be here, but why don't we set you up here? Everything was a good day. Everything was a good day. And we were able to do, maybe you weren't with us on that one. Actually, Justin, I don't think you were with us. I think it was just, were you with us on that one? I don't think you were with us on that. I think it was just, Sonia was there. I know Sonia was there, because that was the first time I met Sonia. And, Betty knows the law very well. I've seen her go face to face with Ellie. I stand my ground. I do it respectfully. I do it respectfully, but I'll tell them, no, I'm not leaving. I have every right to be here. No, I'm not leaving. Like, show me the statute that tells me I can't be here and do my job. Like, bring me a supervisor, a mayor, whatever. I don't care if you bring the chief of police or the frickin' sheriff out here, but you're going to provide me something. They'll be on the phone, well, she's not leaving. Well, how long are you going to be here? 20, 30 minutes. All right. But I just tell them, I'm not doing that. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Back. I did a video based on someone's observation from Facebook where they had pointed out that the kid could have been on their swings the morning that they allegedly went missing, because there was a humongous damn wood pile right there alongside that covered house. Now, just a random observation that's totally off topic. Amira has had multiple naps today. And during those multiple naps, she has not snored. And yet, here I am, sitting down to
There is something I don't know what's going on with this, so we're running the output and the monitor. Maybe I should just do monitor only, but I don't think that's going to fix it. I've tried monitor only. There's something going on with my audio. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because did I add a filter? Hold on a second. I remember adding advanced audio properties. Hold on here. Maybe that has something to do with it. Oh well. Anyways, I think I might have it fixed. Output, monitor only output. I shouldn't have echoes with what I'm seeing here, but it's still echoing. So we'll just go through it. I'll mute my mic. It'll be what it is. That's all we can do right now. But I forgot, this is the wood pile. This is about the swinging. This is about one aspect of Lily and Jack's case related to that Janie said they were on their swinging. People are saying that there was a huge wood pile there and there was no way that they could have swung. Now, I don't know if this is an old photo or not, but I looked at photos from that day and I didn't see this wood pile out there. So I need to find out when these photos were taken, because it could have just been my research. I may have looked at something and interpreted it wrong, thought it was for this day, when it wasn't for this day. It was for a completely different day. So I'd like to know where these photos came from, because they either came from Google or they came from something else, but I'd like to know the dates that each of these were taken.
Record audio. And straight away shows an empty spot where that wood pile used to be. It had been moved into the woodshed, presumably. And now here's something that I never questioned before, but I think it's relevant to this video, as you'll see as we get along. We've been told that Daniel basically spent most of the first couple of days out searching. And apparently Janie did too. She gives an account of being out with Justin on the four-wheeler searching. And yet someone had time to restack that pile of wood, to move it from the cubby to inside the woodshed. So I'm just wondering exactly when that happened and who moved it, because I would imagine if you've been out searching all day, the last thing you're going to feel like doing is moving a pile of wood.
Was that better? It sounds like it's better. I think it's some kind of configuration. It might have been something I did after the fact or whatever. So I'll get the audio taken care of for our next show. It's just going to be a Saturday. I don't know how to say. The dog's barking. Audio's not working. I'm having to mute myself. What the hell's going on today? But woodpile. I'm bringing that up because some people have brought that up to me, is about the woodpile. The woodpile, I don't know. I went back because I didn't believe the swings were down, because we were watching the interview with Janie. And the swings were kind of rolled up, and I'm like, did they always keep them rolled up like that? Because if they did, then maybe they weren't down. And we went and got the picture from that day, and we saw the swings in the down position, not rolled up on that bar above. But I would have to think that if I saw a big old fat wood pile under the swings, I would have made note of that. And I don't remember seeing the wood pile. So now I see this. I know I've heard people talking about the wood pile going over. I would say do your own research, but look at those initial photos. Go back and put Lilly and Jack Sullivan in the search engine and try to go back to May 2nd, May 3rd, and look at that May 3rd. Yeah, look at the footage. Look at the video footage and see the videos. If you can get it from May 2nd, they did have a lot of footage out there on May 2nd. I think that's what I was looking at, but it could have been May 3rd. And would that mean that the wood pile had already been moved? I'm not sure. It's definitely something that we might want to consider since it is being talked about, but I haven't found anything that screams out to me like, oh my gosh, the wood pile is moving. Now, I do believe that they did some weird stuff around there. Like even Janie, she was talking about Malaya standing in the spot right where they saw this boot print, this one lone boot print, but no other footprints were seen. And they were talking about how it was so clean, but she sits there and talks about packing the ground so they can put a pool up. Yet nobody that I've ever known packs a ground before they actually have the pool to put up. And I didn't see any purchase of the pool. I didn't see where they think that where she was doing any searches for the pool or anything like that. It didn't. The whole story about this pool being set up didn't make sense. And why are they setting it up at the end of the summer? We're about to go into winter. And I know for a fact Nova Scotia has brutal winters. Brutal. So why are they putting it up? Well, yeah, I guess May was early. You're right. It was earlier in the month, because it would have been May. I guess they would have still had 3 months. But again, I still think that if that was the case, they would have had the pool. They would have I feel like they would purchase the pool before they level the ground. I've never went out there and said, oh, you know what, I think I'm going to get myself an above ground pool. Let me go ahead and prepare the area. No, because there's so many different size pools. you don't want to really, until you know what area you need to flatten, because you could flatten a smaller area, larger area. I don't know. It just, the whole pool thing just seems out of place for me. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't want to say it's not true or true, just that it's out of place. It's just an out of place part of the story for me. So now we're going to get on. As many of you know, this is why you guys are here. It took us a long time to get here. But this is the case of baby Emmanuel, and we have some, information here. I'm going to go ahead and let Jesse, I think it's Jesse Weber on this one. Might not be, it might be another one of his colleagues, kind of break us into the intro of this case.
Emmanuel is still missing. Law enforcement say he's dead. They didn't say anything in their brief court appearance this week as you look at this video from KTLA, but Jake is now speaking from jail.
Well, his interview was different from the one I did with Rebecca, in that Rebecca stuck with the account that she was a victim of a mugging, that baby Emmanuel was kidnapped. And Jake did not say that.
I just spoke to the reporter who met face-to-face in jail with Jake Haro. What Haro said about accusations he abused Emmanuel to death, and how Jake's story compares to Rebecca's story, who still seems to claim that she was attacked and the baby was kidnapped. We're on The Case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. And Rebecca Haro since their arrest nearly a week ago. A reporter in Southern California who may be the only person who has spoken with both Jake and Rebecca Haro since their arrest nearly a week ago. The Haros are being held at separate facilities. This is video per KTLA of when they were in court this week in Riverside, California. Both parents are charged with murder and a felony charge for filing a false report in the disappearance of their 7-month-old son, Emmanuel. Yesterday, the Riverside County District Attorney said Emmanuel died of prolonged child abuse.
The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, a victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries.
Let me go unplug my this is driving me nuts. I hate this. I hate going back to this old way of doing things. So he's basically saying, you know who brought this theory to us? Strategic Eyes. True Crime with Strategic Eyes. He is a real life detective. His day job's being a detective for SVU type cases. And he's been kind of lending the world his insights on these criminal cases on his platform on YouTube called True Crime with Strategic Eyes. And he had brought up, and he said, you're probably going to find out that this child may not have been abused the night that he lost his life. It may have been as simple as them laying him down and they woke up the next day and he was gone. But he says he believes that it was prolonged abuse and his body just finally gave out from that abuse. Earl is Daniel's dad. He's a loving grandfather when he's around his grandkids. And I've seen, some weird behavior out of Earl. We thought Earl was dead. We heard that Daniel and his mother acquired that property because of Daniel's father dying. Well, we know Daniel's father's not dead, so it must have been his grandfather. The lines must have been crossed, and it must have been Janie's dad, I would assume. I don't know if it came from Earl, because Earl's here. We heard that they acquired that through probate, and so if it was acquired through probate, it wasn't Daniel's father. It would have most likely been his grandfather or a stepfather. I don't know. Good morning. I've been here a couple hours-ish this morning, just quiet today. Aw, nice to see you. Baby Emmanuel's case, another tragedy, heartbreaking. Glad you came out of the bushes. Yeah, it's nice to have you. Good morning. Earl is Janie's ex. Daniel's father, living nearby. He's a junked up camper, real cabin. Yeah. But we heard, so if it was a father figure, it would have been a stepfather. I don't know how they acquired the property, but it sounded like he didn't acquire the property. Janie acquired the property. He just happened to kick Janie out of the main house and put her into the camper so he could have the main house for his growing family. How do investigators know this, though? Know what? Prolonged. I think because of the evidence. I think the evidence shows, because you're looking at videos, they're looking at a child with a deformed face. There's indicators that this wasn't the first, that this child has been injured by an adult previously. And so it wouldn't be it would be something that they can show a history of abuse for this child. In my opinion, through various witnesses and stuff like that, they'll have people saying, yeah, I've seen him pop her, or I've seen him do this, or I've seen him do that. They'll be bringing in the ex-wives, Vanessa. They're going to be talking to her about, about Jake. They're going to be talking to Isabel about Jake. They're going to have enough information to prove the prolonged, because it's going to be basically behavior, right? He's done this before. He's done this in every relationship. The chances of him not doing in this one is not. Delilah, knock it off. Give me a second. Just easier just to bring her in here. Don't give me no shit. Come here. Come here. Come here. Say, everybody, I'm in my little dressy. I'm in my puppy diaper, but I'm in my dressy diaper. My dressy diaper. My mommy makes me wear these whenever it's that time. Whenever it's that time of the girly stuff, because I'm a girl. Guard dog alert. Yes, guard dog alert. And she hates being on my lap. She wants to lay, but there's no place to lay here, so she's going to pop around just for a second. She's going to realize she's not going to get comfortable, and then she's going to jump down. Or I'm going to push her off. We'll see who wins this one. But yeah, I think they'll be able to prove that without a doubt. I really do. But this one, I think, is the other information, the shocking information right here. There's the judge. Okay? There's the judge that is the responsible party for all of this. And I'm going to say it just like that. Because you don't take a man that has done something like this. At the end of the day, it is proven statistically. People that get away with being abusive continues their abuse, and it escalates. It escalates. Everybody knows that. You don't play with this. We don't play with pedos. We don't play with abusers. Why? Because they don't change. Leopards don't change their spots, folks. And had he been made to account for promise, we wouldn't be here. And I've said that. He would have been in prison. Emmanuel would not be here, let alone deceased. Now, some people have brought up the timing of all this, the timing of her pregnancy with Emmanuel, and indicating that maybe Emmanuel is not truly Jake's child. We don't know that. That is rumor. I don't want to make that leap. That he's not biologically related to Jake. I'd like to see that come out. I don't want to speculate on that, because that is that could take the case a different direction. The child not being his, the child being deceased, being the only child that they've had that did lose their life to this abuse. There's a lot of stuff that does go in with this, but I'm not willing to take that just because somebody feels like maybe a word that this DA or the sheriff made that might go into supporting the fact that she's not, that he's not his. And I think he does look like Jake, but again, even if he didn't, it doesn't matter. It's something that we can sit and talk to ad nauseum, but it's always going to be speculative until somebody higher up lets us know. So I'm not getting into the speculative conversations that we can never find out the truth from until it comes out in court. So it's just, I think it's a distraction. I don't think it matters one way or another. And I think that if it's true, it will eventually come out that that's the case, and that may have played into why this child is dead. But this judge is the one, and how many more families did he do this to? How many more families are being abused because this man had a bleeding heart and let these horrible, violent criminals out on the street with the rest of us? How many people have lost their life that we don't know that have lost their life because of this judge? I pray this judge is off the bench. If he's not, he looks old enough that he probably would like to retire and spend some time with his family. You know, but I don't think that our country can afford his kind of judgmentship anymore over any more cases. He clearly doesn't know what he's doing. He clearly works on emotion, not on law. And I really would like to start stripping some judicial immunity from our judges because of this. Because I think judges would follow the rules and follow the law more strictly if they knew that they could be, legally held accountable like our law enforcement officers are. I think if we're holding our law enforcement officers that have to make split-second decisions, life and death decisions, literally one. You have that much of a second to make it. And they can be liable. They have no immunity. Meanwhile, judges like this can literally wreak more havoc than any law enforcement could. And they have the most immunity? No. That is not. No. Because he just lost a life. He should have some immunity stripped from him. He should be able to be held accountable for his judging because he lost somebody their life. And he knew better. You cannot tell me that this man that has been on the bench for years hasn't seen a lot of stuff. I know he has. He knew better. He knew better. I want to know, was he up for an election around this time? I want to learn a little more about this judge because I want to make sure that this type of stuff that goes on, our judges are held accountable like our law enforcement officers are held accountable. I think nobody should really have this immunity unless you are in top tier government dealing with confidential and top secret crap. Then I understand the immunity. But these lower level immunities, there's no need for it. You're giving people an opportunity to do damage without being held accountable, and I'm done with it. If everybody's held accountable, they'll hold themselves to a higher regard. Because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to go to jail. Our law enforcement officers are scared to pull out their gun and use it when protecting our country because they might be in jail for the rest of their life if they make a flippin' mistake in a split second. This guy had plenty of time to sit here and review the law, review the thing. He had time. This was not a split-second decision for this judge. This was well thought out, and he made this decision, and he should be held to account for this decision that lost a 7-month-old baby their life. And with you all across the country, you guys need to be implementing this in your area and start talking to your politicians about removing some of these immunities from these judges so we can start going after them when they make piss poor decisions like this. At minimum, remove them from the blessed bench so they don't make any more decisions like this. That's what I would like. I want a mechanism to remove and fire these judges. And I think that this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. This is the way to do it right here. But that's the judge. So here's another tidbit of breaking news information. Right here. Parents of tragic little Emmanuel Haro charged with murder. As it surfaced, they were subject of a child abuse call around the same time their son vanished. This is now being reported that there was, in fact, because we were told the Department of Children and Family Services were not involved in this case prior to Emmanuel going missing. And now we're finding out, literally right before he disappeared, there was somebody, obviously, felt that there was some type of abuse coming from that house, so much so that they made the call. We just learned yesterday that Jake Haro made a call about child abuse. Is this the call? I bet you he's been trying to set up ever since he knew he hurt little baby Emmanuel, probably beyond help. It sounds like he started setting up Rebecca from that point, and potentially may have even made the child abuse call himself. This is strange. This is strange and some change. Now let's listen to Ahmed. He's back out there, y'all. Like I heard he was done. He kind of got ripped by, and I don't know why. We're all standing up for him, even mainstream media, like, Hidden True Crime Podcast. It sounds like Vinny came to bat for him. I can tell you, we all here came back. The only person that's beating him up is TMZ. It's TMZ. And I'm pretty sure everything we've watched from TMZ, like I said, they're like at the Inquirer, right? They're like the Inquirer. So out of all the people to scream fake news or whatever, or amateur, I mean, I was amateur. They didn't call me amateur when they bought my Dog the Bounty Hunter interview. They didn't say boot about Bullhorn Betty being an amateur when they wanted my stuff, when they wanted to purchase the story off of me. TMZ didn't call anybody amateurs. So if they're calling him amateurs, it's because they want to rip his stuff off, which I heard they did. Kind of funny how that happens. What, you guys aren't paying for stories anymore? You're starting to rip them off social media there, TMZ? And then when somebody says something, you want to go and dog them and tell them that you didn't have a problem with me. That was the very first interview of my career, was with Dog the Bounty Hunter. And I want to say, you guys paid me crap for my story, by the way. But we're not going to go there, TMZ. We won't go there. But I've had connections with all these damn people. All these affiliations. Many of you guys didn't know that, but I did. If you guys go on TMZ and do Dog the Bounty Hunter, go there and say TMZ, Dog the Bounty Hunter, Cassie Laundry. When you hear, you'll hear my voice. I'm the one behind the camera, okay? It's my voice, okay? If you don't believe me, go check it out. That's my camera, my voice, my interview. I even asked Dog, I said, how's your ankle, right? He does. He's starting to look old. He's starting to look washed out, to be honest with you. He's just starting to look washed out. He's starting to look bad. Like, not bad, like old bad, like bad washed out bad, like too much drugs and alcohol bad. Just my opinion. Oh, I got no volume. Hold on a second.
By the letter H. Hola! And by number 7, 8, and 9.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to
check it out. Now, I can't disclose too much information because what I'm about to tell you is very, very crucial. And so please forgive me if it doesn't all make sense, homie. Now, we have reliable sources that Jake and not Rebecca went into a business on the tira 3 days in a row. The 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. Now, on the 7th, he donated a bunch of baby products, clothing, and some other apparatuses, all brand new, not even a scuff, homie, on the tira. On day 8, he asked if he can use the dumpster, which they said yes, because they knew him on the tira. And he threw away
Is it still echoing? The real me too, or is it just when I had my camera or my mic on before I turned it off? Because I'm like, is it echoing? Like, I'm working very hard here trying to make this thing not echo. But when I turn my before I turn my mic off, it echoes, doesn't it? That's probably what you were talking about. I don't know why it's doing that today, and I don't know how to fix it. Like, I just don't know how to fix it. Everything is literally off. Sorry, I keep forgetting that's the one that does that. So I can't even put the monitor on without it freaking So that's what happens with all my settings. Sorry. Okay, I'm muting myself. We're going to go back to it. Whatever setting is on, I'm sure it'll refresh by this afternoon. Something is hinky with the system. So we're just going to have to work with a hinky system.
More baby clothes. Excuse me, I retract that statement. He threw away what appeared to be 2 grocery-sized bags. What was in there, we don't know, homie. The 9th, he came back and he donated some, I don't want to say what he gave, but he gave something to the business which they since then sold off. All the clothes that he donated was sold off. All the apparatuses were sold off. And so there's little kids out there wearing Emmanuel's clothes, brand new clothes, that quite possibly were never even used, homie. Now, I'm sorry if this story doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to those who know, homie, on the tira. And so I can't say anything further, homie, but just know that this is a very, very vital piece of information. And Ahmed Belloso has now gained new traction on the tira.
So, what is going on is that there was a lot of stuff. Sorry, you guys are watching me clear all this stuff off because I just want to make this, try to smooth it out as much as possible. There we are. One more, I think. Yeah. Okay. So what we have here is he's saying that we heard about garbage, we heard about trash cans, now we're hearing about, we knew that the child's clothing was missing, we heard about a dumpster, we had a videotaping of somebody at a dumpster that had law enforcement come and pick up the children's clothes. Law enforcement did collect those children's clothes out of the dumpster. We didn't know where that dumpster was, and I said that here. We didn't know the direction, location, or anything of this dumpster. So, now we're hearing that these clothes went to like a thrift type, like a Goodwill, like what we know, like a Goodwill type of thrift shop, a secondhand store, and they donated those clothes and then went back and didn't donate clothes the next time, but threw garbage bags into their dumpster. 2 of them. Now remember, we heard power equipments and we have a lot of blood. We know Jake's MO, he doesn't shoot or stab his victims. He beats them and strangles them. Things that do not produce blood or blood spatter or definitely pools of blood. So, our minds are still kind of in gear, and I think that's what he says. He can't say too much about it. But we now have a dumpster being involved with baby clothes and bags, grocery bags being thrown away. Why would he throw clothes into their dumpster on the 8th, but not in the dumpster in his house? So we know that this child lost his life between the 5th and the 14th, and we're listening to days 7, 8, and 9. We know that on the 3rd, she was at a pawn shop. She exhibited a black eye. On the 5th, she was at a funeral where everybody's saying she didn't have a black eye, but clearly there was black eyes visible on the video from the pawn shop, which has been turned over to law enforcement. We have the makeup, all that makeup on her face at the funeral, and then 2 days later, so pawn shop, 2 days later, funeral, 2 days later, they start showing up at this this thrift store. Then the very next day, the 8th, it doesn't sound like he dropped off anything to that thrift store and only used the dumpsters and threw a couple grocery bags into that dumpster, and then came back the 9th and dropped off more items, apparatuses, and clothing. So could the 8th be, did they take cadaver dogs to that dumpster? I don't know. That's going to be our next question. Were the cadaver dogs ever at that dumpster? Because that's how they found Quentin Simon, is when they realized that there was a dumpster, they took a cadaver dog out there and the cadaver dog hit on the dumpster. And then they knew. They knew. Where's my volume? Okay. Everything's running slow. Like, I can tell behind the scenes, I'm having some major, major issues. So I'm probably going to have to, damn it. Sorry, guys. Let me go back. So I'm probably going to have to, I don't know why everything is...
Our residents. You can see here, the people still at the memorial. The train has entered the chat. We're going to tell you fine folks at home the entire story about Ramona Street, 5008 on the Tira. Jake, Emmanuel, and Rebecca Haro lived here in that house where the American flag was at. Jake used to live in this house a few years back. Probably when he got with Rebecca, he ended up moving into the main house, and the mom with her stepfather moved into this house, and that's the shed right there. People on this quiet community here have noticed a difference on the Tira. Little Emmanuel was never seen, ever on the Tira. Residents on the block say they didn't even know that.
Differences, right? The differences are that we heard that she had this child in the house. We don't know if that's true. We're hearing rumors, and we can't take rumors as facts, folks, because there's so many times we hear rumors and they're completely opposite of what we know. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. It very well could be true. But what information do we have to support it? Did anybody come forward that was there when she gave birth to Emmanuel? I haven't seen that. So we really have nothing supporting that she gave birth to inside that house alone, other than, a story from somebody that has a story. So I'm not saying it's not true by any stretch of the imagination, but at the end of the day, it sounds like a lot of people on their block had no earthly idea she had a baby. I don't know how you can have a pregnancy and nobody know that you have a baby, especially when your family is across the street. I'd have to think that you've had barbecues or something, right? Where the child was out. I don't believe that. Yeah, it's a stretch that nobody knew it. But, there may have been. It may have been one of those things where these people work and not involved with this family, and when they come home, not involved with this family. It could be something exactly like that. And it might be. I have, a lot of people, believe it or not, when you do have a baby, if you're not close with your neighbors, or you live out in a desolate area and your neighbors aren't really close, but they do live out in a desolate area, but let's be honest with you, they're not out there by themselves. I mean, they got, a small little community there on Ramona, or whatever the name of the road is. So I don't know. It's a little weird for me.
That he was born. These neighbors here, Titans, those neighbors there, the house that caught on fire, very suspicious and very, very peculiar indeed. Now, does this tie into Emmanuel somehow? Because people were saying that it was closed and the dumpster, no sé qué. Those stories cannot be confirmed. The stroller has entered the chat. Originally, the stroller was there where the American flag is at.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Neighbors throughout here are upset upset because these fools were tied into the fools that burned their house down. A lot of activity.
The reason why I was echoing is because I had my mic on. I was sending a text to my BFF telling her that I was still on my live and I'll be heading out soon. And I realized that my mic was on. So I muted my mic just to turn it back on to tell you guys that it's echoing because I had my mic on. I don't know what's going on with my system today, but I'm trying to work through it. It's been fun. It's been fun. But as you guys can see, I've got lag going on. So I think before I leave the office today, I think I'm going to unplug and reset my internet system, as well as obviously shut down the computer and let it rest for the day so we can come back and not have this problem tonight. I know I've been telling you guys I'm going to do an evening program, but I probably will tonight because I'll be getting back in about the time I'll be doing the program, whereas the last few days I've kind of wind down a little earlier than I had expected, and that's why I didn't do a live.
All hours of the night. And so maybe this incident here disrupting other business here, and so you can understand now why people will get upset when you can no longer do what you want to do. But guess what? You know who doesn't get to do what they want to do? Emmanuel Haro. Dispensa on the tira. This is what the Bearcat would have seen as it drove here into this fence, and palo on the tira, homie. The address 50008 Ramona, Cabazon, California. The casino has entered the chat. Little Emmanuel lived here on the tira. Jake's mom lives here, but there's more. Check this out. This is the gate we all remember seeing where the Bearcat came in, and hola! The gate came tumbling down. Even the American flag that was posted up has left the chat, homie. People don't know that Jake Haro has people, familiares, that live in this complex here. Oh, they're
Okay, there we go. I'm back live. Okay, so what we're learning is he's there at the house. This seems to be like a family compound area, even though it's not a family compound. His mom lived in the main house, mom and stepdad, and then they moved to the smaller house so Jake and his wife and the kids could live in the main house. And so that's kind of where they did what they had, but they also had the sister living over in an area that she no longer lives in anymore. And it sounds like there was I think I remember hearing something about the Department of Children and Family Services, at one time being involved with her as well. But I digress. That's rumor. I don't have any information, but I did want to get you guys to Matt Thibodeau. He's making a debut this morning.
Restraining order put on
Everything is
grandmother/adopted mother.
I don't know what's going. Like even my mouse. It's just not right. The whole system I need to shut down the entire system. Something's not right with my. I wonder if it's this box that I just got a new box that's running everything out of it. I wonder if it's the box. That'd be interesting.
By way of Rebecca, as well as the trash and where the landfill actually is that the trash from the Haro's residence goes to. So on September 2nd, 2005, when Rebecca would have been 21 years old, she requested an order for DV prevention against Mary Boyshausen, her grandmother/adopted mother. On September 14th, 2005, Mary was served this temporary restraining order. She denied any allegations against her, and then on the 23rd, the case was ultimately dismissed, the order was terminated, and that was it. Now, this is the second filing that we have seen of Rebecca trying to do this to someone else. We've seen her do this now with Mary. We also seen her do this with her ex. And her ex reportedly said that they had a normal relationship. So what is her reasoning for making these filings? Is it to get people out of her life? Has Rebecca really been a long-term victim of DV by multiple people in her life? Is it a red flag? Is it a coincidence that Mary Boyshausen's 2 adopted children, Rebecca and her brother, end up behind bars for taking the life of someone else?
Because my mouse is so messed up, it's jerking all over, so it's taking me a little while. The reason why you guys are hearing the echo at the very beginning is because I've got to play the video and then mute my mic. So that's why you hear a little bit of echoing at the beginning. I can't do anything about it on this show. It'll be fixed by the next show, but I digress. He's basically saying she's utilizing this system of filing injunctions against people she doesn't like as a form to get them away from her, or a form to just punish them for something. We don't know why she did this way back in 2005. That would be interesting to get that affidavit, especially since it's been dismissed and it didn't appear to have any type of finding of the court to be true. I'm interested in that because, he brings up a valid point. We talked about the kids, 2 of them showing up, murdering people. What kind of childhood did they have? And then we found out they're both adopted, that the damage may have been done by their previous family. But with this, I don't believe Mary did anything to this child, but what was Mary like before she became grandma? Grandmas are grandmas, they still had a life. They still had, knucklehead decisions they did. Some of these people were rough, tough cream puffs before they calmed their little butts down and became grandma. And became like the sweet little grandma that makes cookies, right? She may have been the gun-toting biker chick way back, 20, 40 years ago. You just never know. So what kind of mom was she truly? And she did adopt these children. Did she beat them more than she would her regular children because they were adopted and already in trouble? And back in them days, we learned corporal punishment, right? That's what everybody did when you got in trouble. You beat your child. It was what was taught to the people. You can't sit here and say that all these people were abusive. Yeah, they were abusive, but that's the way that era was. It wasn't this mom. It was everybody, Like, the men used to beat on the women. It was legal. It was lawful and legal, So you got to remember our history, over time has evolved, which is a good thing. We like evolution. We like to know that people aren't doing the same stupid stuff over and over again, expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. But, we have progressed as a society. Things that were normal back then are not normal today. But to now go back and retroactively go blame a prior generation for the way their lifestyle was then is horribly wrong. But in this case, did Mary beat her children? Was Mary an abusive mother? Even a foster mother? Did she treat her foster kids or adopted kids differently than her biological kids? Did she have biological kids? These are questions that are, behavioral in nature, history in nature, not really anything that's relevant for the sake of Emmanuel, just to help for us to understand the psychology behind who Rebecca may be. That's really all these conversations will have. I have no reason to throw Mary under the bus, even if she was a horrible mother 20 years ago. That's not my business. We're not in the business of retroactively going and beating people up. We're in the business of where's the case now, who's responsible, and who do we need to be focusing on. We don't want to throw, even if people are not the best people in the world, we don't want to throw them under the bus just because we can. We want it to be, if we're throwing somebody under the bus, we want it to have, merit to do so. I've seen that Mary was an informant, which means she's a criminal given lesser sentence for yeah, okay, there were documents proving this. Okay, well, that's good to know, Justy. I appreciate that. So yeah, I can see where, you know, this could be an issue, that she might have been the catalyst for these two kids and why they're in the situation that they're in. But it gets back to our, you know, our conversation we had earlier in this show about, you know, the Department of Children and Family Services, and the fact that we've never really had anybody say anything positive, either in the system or outside of that system, about the system. And that's not the way it should be. We should be saving people. There should be nothing but, you know, 4 and 5 stars on the service from our Department of Children and Family Services from where I'm at, and we're not even barely scratching a half a star. There's some major improvement that has got to go on. Even in these foster care systems. There's got to be more. This is getting downright ridiculous. It's getting disgusting. If you guys don't know about Matt Thibodeau, I love his work. I really do. We've been kind of going all over the place. I feel like I haven't provided his insight on this show at all very much throughout this case, and he does a lot of great work. And so this is just a great find about Mary. He really explained it really well. I thought you guys would be interested in getting this little history, you know, about Rebecca. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to play it. If you guys would like to, if somebody can throw Matt's link down, I'd like to see some people over at his TikTok. He has a YT channel. Go sub him up. Again, just good. He's good at what he does. He has opinions, but he tries to keep it pretty much factual. He asks open-ended questions to get people to think, and I like his style. So if you like his style, go over there and show him some love.
I don't know. Now what I will say is that given Rebecca's past of filing these reports, making these cases, I do think that it is possible that she will eventually turn on Jake Haro, but we are going to have to see, because based on everything that she is saying up to this point, it does not seem to indicate that she's going to turn on him, but she's turned on people in her life before, so it's possible she could do it again. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the trash at the Haro's home. So as you can see from this photo right here, there is a black trash barrel outside of the Haro's residence, and it is empty. It was picked up. Now, this barrel actually matches the barrels in this area of California that is serviced by CC&R Waste Management. Trash in this specific region where the Haros live that is picked up by this specific waste management company is brought to a landfill called the Lamb Canyon Landfill. And at this exact moment, law enforcement has not ever went out to Lamb Canyon Landfill, to our knowledge, to do any searches, which debunks rumors that have been circulating online of Jake confessing a few days ago, saying that he accidentally took Emmanuel's life and that he put him in the trash outside to be picked up on trash day. Now,
so we're hearing that there is another area that has come up that might be viable for searching or checking. So we're hearing that Rebecca finally got an attorney. If you guys know, there was some dispute between who the state attorney, the public defender's office was going to represent, and who was going to get the private attorney on the roster for pro bono work for these type of cases. And so it sounds like the attorney was called and came to the aid, and now she officially has an attorney to represent her at her arraignment. So that's where we are at. Thank you for that information. I appreciate it.
Now law enforcement could issue search warrants for the Lamb Canyon landfill if they do feel like there is going to be evidence at that landfill pertaining to Emmanuel's death. But at the moment, we haven't seen that publicly yet. And based on the press conference the other day, where the sheriffs were saying that they have an indication as to where Emmanuel is, I don't necessarily think that they feel like he is in this landfill. Could he be? Very possibly, but I don't think that their investigation has led them to that specific area at this time. So
okay, so it looks like we have some breaking news while we are live. We knew that Rebecca and Jake could not be represented by the public defender's office together, that they have to be separated. And so we heard through the grapevine that the public defender's office was going to represent Jake Haro. So the private practice attorney we're learning, is an ex-deputy DA from Riverside. So he was a district attorney. So it sounds like Rebecca's going to get at least a very, very good, highly skilled attorney that has experience on the other side of the table. So that's always good, because they'll know what tricks, what avenues they're most likely going to. He knows the playbook of the DA's office in Riverview. So it sounds like and I'm glad she's going to be the one that gets the private attorney person that's going to be fighting for her, because I think she's the one that needs the most fight. Personally, I believe she needs to be held accountable, but there's a piece in me. I'm sorry, she's still a battered woman. Those elements do need to be brought into her case, and those elements do need to be weighed against her sentencing. I do believe she needs to be held accountable. I'm not taking that away, but we also know she is an abused woman, and a lot of the things that we're seeing may have been altered because of that abuse, that, maybe she wouldn't have done this had, in light or in lack of that abuse. So we have to look at those things. Not that it makes a difference one way or another. I have no respect for this woman. None. She's a piss poor mom. And, but at the end of the day, she's also, even though she's a piss poor mom, she's an abused woman. And that may have been one of the reasons why she was a piss poor mom. We don't know her true history. With a little bit of history that we have learned about her being adopted, and things like that, it sounds like she's had a lot of problems her entire life. It doesn't make any of this right, but there is laws here that say that her history, this abuse, can be taken into consideration, and I think it needs to be. And I think that the attorney would be the one best to help introduce that in her case. I don't really care for Jake. I've got nothing to say to him. I think he's he's just not a human. He's not a human. He's a monster. And he never, ever deserves to breathe the air outside of the gates of a prison. Why are all these... I don't know what happened to my system this morning.
Another video is about Rebecca. And how she is someone that has been abused all her life, and she probably has mental illnesses, this, that, and the other. She had restraining orders that she put out against her mother and her ex-husband. From what I know, from speaking with the family, is Rebecca's past relationship, her past marriage, was a DV marriage. And it's something that she hid, as we have seen and speculate with Jake, from family for a while. Now, the ending of their marriage was something that
I do not like what's going on with my system. It's driving me nuts. I'm not saying I'm a DV. I would never allow. I'm not saying that it has any rights to allow this to happen. I just want to clarify my position. This woman deserves to be in prison for what she has done. Okay, I'm just saying that her abuse is an extenuating circumstance, and I do believe it is an extenuating circumstance. It doesn't justify what she did. It's only to help gauge her sentencing, or whether it rises to the level of a softer sentence or not. I still believe she is a party to this murder. I mean, she sat there and watched her child the life taken out of her child through multiple abuses. I'm not giving her a pass by any stretch of the imagination, and nor do I expect any abused parent to act this way, because many people in my chat are abused, which I know you've heard me say this before. But I do believe that she deserves to have that abuse brought into her case. And I'm going to stand behind that, whether my audience agrees with it or not. I don't think that she needs to not be accountable or walk away from this. I want to see her in jail for at least 15 years over this, at minimum, for her part in this. I'd like to see her there longer than that. But if we can get 15 years, I'm good for her. I want to see Jake in jail for the rest of his life. I don't want him for having the possibility of ever getting out. But for the mother, and again, not the most popular viewpoint, but she wasn't the one that killed her son. She was just the one that stood by and allowed it to happen. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, she's just as culpable as Jake is in that realm. However, I don't believe she should be sentenced at the same sentence as Jake, because he is the monster. She's the one that's abused and allowed this to happen. She's a monster too, and I get that. But a lot degrees less than Jake. And that should be, in my opinion, her abuse at his hands should be brought into that case for sentencing purposes. They may be brought into the case a lot sooner than that, just by the way of other things. Betty, check message. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is just the order. It doesn't give you any details about what the request was. It just says, let's see what it says here at the beginning. Temporary restraining order filed by Rebecca Turner, represented pro se, at 8 a.m. Dale R. Wells presiding. Rebecca Bruhausen was the name at the time, and she was going against her son, or her mother, Mary Bruhausen, in court. Temporary restraining orders terminated as the domestic without children. Busen, case dismissed, entire action dismissed. Okay, so that was the ending of it. Let me look at the beginning of it. Yeah, it doesn't say why. It was why that order was provided. That's what I'm looking for, is why was the order provided. Let's see here. The Riverside DA media attention. This is for yesterday. It says the undersigned, let me read this to you guys. We understand how deeply the community and the media cares about baby Emmanuel and are eager for information about this case. We share your desires for justice and your desires for transparency. However, there has been a significant amount of misinformation circulating in the media and on social media, which can be confusing and frustrating for everyone. Please know that we are committed to providing accurate information. Also, please understand that we are bound by legal and ethical responsibilities that prevent us from sharing detailed case information publicly. These responsibilities are in place to avoid making statements that could influence the case, prejudice the fairness of the court proceeding, or impede the goal we all share for justice for baby Emmanuel. We kindly ask for your patience and understanding, and trust that the accurate facts will be shared through appropriate official updates in due time. Spreading false information or rushing to conclusion can ultimately hinder the investigation and impact the court proceedings, which are essential to receiving justice. First of all, let me tell you, I don't know who this is. This is, of course, coming from Riverside District Attorney. So, Mr. Mike Hestron. Mr. Mike Hestron, first of all, I've been around the block a time or two, and I know that misinformation, if you just ignore misinformation and just worry about your case, you don't have to worry about anything, because it's about the jury inside that case as opposed to outside. If they're saying you're poisoning the jury pool, well, welcome to media, which has been around since our Constitution. Okay? So this idea of bleeding hearts and bullcrap, like, if you want things to be different and you can't say it, but you don't want people talking about it, all you're doing is creating more chaos and vitriol against the DA's office with this. Knock it off. We don't need to be told what to do. You don't tell us what to do out here. You do your business and behind those scenes. We'll do our business out here. If there's misinformation that you can't talk about, well, then don't talk about it. You don't need to clarify it. You don't need to update it. You don't need to do anything. Give us the information when it comes out. But this idea that you want everybody to stop talking about it because of your precious court case, that's not going to happen, which hasn't happened since court TV was invented. Thank you, Vinnie Bolidin. I think he was the inventor of it. Maybe not. I don't know. He's the only one I've ever seen. So they've been having to work with media since our Constitution was invented, okay? Law enforcement has. And this idea that all of a sudden they can't handle the flippin' news, I'm done. I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear it no more. Either work with us or quit bitching about it. It's that simple. It's that simple. Anybody that continues, that it's in a public office, I'm just going to make this, anybody that's in a public office that complains about social media and everything else like that, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to start campaigning against you. I want you out of government. If you can't handle social media, you don't deserve a public position. Okay? So if I hear any more governors, any more police officers, any more DAs bitching about social media, I'm going to start working to campaign to get them out of office. We need people that can know how to work in today's environment. And if they're so out of touch that they cannot work in today's environment, they don't need their job. That's the way I'm looking at it. We need people that know how to work in today's environment. Okay? Without sending out press releases bitching about social media. If you haven't noticed, we're in a country where we have freedoms of speech. Maybe honor that. Jeez Louise, these people got some nerve. And then they give the same media post in Spanish. So, no, I'm not, you know what? Mike Hestron, I'm Bullhorn Betty. You're a DA. I'm certain that you can probably find my number. Call me, leave me a message. I'll call you back, and me and you can have a talk. If I'm providing such misinformation, look up my number, give me a call like a big old boy, okay? Like a big boy. Okay? This right here is sounding like a 2-year-old. Okay? We definitely want baby Emmanuel's justice. But if you're not going to give us the information, we're going to go find it ourselves. We're not standing down. We're not going to be posting what you want us to post. Either give us the information or something to keep our people entertained with this stuff, information flowing and this baby story alive, or just stop writing. Quit being a keyboard warrior, okay? You guys are doing some major damage to yourselves. You guys aren't good keyboard warriors, okay? Leave the keyboard warriors to the warriors, all right? You're not good at the job, okay, Cupcake? Thank you for your service. Let's focus on baby Emmanuel. Don't be worrying about Bullhorn Betty. Don't be worrying about Ahmed. Don't be worrying about the other 100,000 content creators covering this case. People come to reputable channels to find reputable information. We're not out there like all these other people that do this for their side hustle. We're out here doing this. If people want true information, we're giving them true information with a side of speculation and a side of theory. And the last time I recall, DA, you should know that because you are a licensed attorney, it seems like. And I would think anybody that's a licensed attorney, I know me as a little measly AA and paralegal study girl, I remember we learned the Constitution. One of the first classes we learned was the Constitution. Maybe it's been so long for you, Attorney Hestron, that maybe you forgot. Maybe you forgot. Maybe we need to sponsor you like maybe Constitution 101 book or Constitution for Dummies. I mean, I'd hate to be that smart-assy. And I am, because I'm being smart-assy, because I'm getting sick and tired of this pissing contest with our officials. You really don't want the fight with social media. I'm going to tell you, and I'm telling this to all politicians, you don't want to be fighting with social media. You just don't. Social media will destroy campaigns, will just do everything. Politicians don't want to be picking fights with a whole entire genre of millions of people. Millions of people. We're not talking about this being, social media. I think it's the box. I think my box is what's doing it, because it seems like everything's running through I got one little box so I didn't have all these different plugs hanging out of my computer, and I'm starting to think maybe my box is not as high speed as I'd like it to be. I think that might be what the problem is. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out in due time. So, oh well, I'm off my bandwagon. I'm going to continue bitching about these people in Riverside.
That she ended up doing to get out of it. From what I was told, she had an affair. It was a messy divorce. And from that, she did lose one of her children, meaning that they no longer speak to her, and one of them that continued to speak to her because that's their brother, from what they've stated. The relationship with Mary, I do not have any insights to. I know that Mary is her adopted mother. I do not know why she filed a protective order against Mary. That has not been confirmed. I have no information. It was dismissed. Now, the relationship with Mary and Rebecca, the reason why they stopped talking in the first place and why they were so disconnected is because Jake and Rebecca started dating, and the family immediately saw red flags with Jake. And from those red flags, she was confronted on them. And when she was confronted on them, she got into a huge argument with her family. And in that sense, she ended up moving in with Jake, and they didn't talk to her for a very long time.
Okay, we're back. And so we're now learning about the fallout, which we've already heard about, the fallout between the mom and the family and stuff like that. So now it's kind of getting here. I think I got other stuff here. I think I'm going to wait until this afternoon. I think we've been on here long enough today. I still got several things, and I want to go over Ahmed's history, because Ahmed's history is, I think, very important to us. I really do. I think Ahmed's history is very important to us because he's come under a lot of heat from the local area, the local law enforcement out there. You guys know me. I'm not with it. I love to be respectful to law enforcement, but that only goes for as long as it, it works both ways is my position on it. At the end of the day, it works both ways. You're not going to demand respect from me without providing me respect first, or vice versa. I'll show you respect until you do something that pulls that respect away. But this idea that I owe somebody this courtesy, this professional courtesy to when I'm covering a case, a true crime case, no, I don't. This idea, this illusion that law enforcement thinks that I have to ask permission, I want to make sure it's very clear. No, I don't. If you want to work with me, you're not going to demand to work with me. You're going to do it with professionalism, and you're going to do it with grace and courtesy. But what I saw and displayed from, the DA was a little nicer. This Hestron guy, he was a little nicer. He was careful with how he did his words. He wasn't as nasty as Sheriff Chad Bianco with it. But Chad Bianco obviously has a chip on his shoulder. He's got a short man complex. And I know about short man complex, all right? I'm a little 5'0" nothing, okay? I understand the complex very well because I don't take anybody's shit. Is it because I'm short? I don't know where that comes from, okay? You want me to be honest with you? I don't know where it comes from. Does it come from me being short because I was picked on? I wasn't picked on, so is it a short man syndrome? I don't know. I'm a short man, okay? Woman, man, whatever, you know what I mean. So is that the thing? And it's like I mean, let's talk. I'm just trying to be real here. I'm 5 foot soaking wet. I'm not growing any taller, okay? And I've got an attitude. I got a don't mess with me attitude. You guys know that I'm the sweetest person in the world. I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'm a bee, but I'm not a heartless bee. Is it because of my height? I don't know. You're fun size. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But so I'm not. What I talk about is his height. I'm not a 6 foot tall person criticizing somebody for their height. Okay, I'm a smaller person than he is, criticizing him about his height because I just want to be mean to him because he was mean to us. Now who's acting like a 2-year-old? Thank you. Now who's acting like a 2-year-old, right? But at the end of the day, to keep harping on it or keep trying to put your position on it, look, it's falling on deaf ears. Save yourself the taxpayer funds to write the letter. Just ignore it, right? Just ignore it. I mean, you guys have ignored crime for the last 10 years. Certainly you can ignore a little bit of people speaking online, you know? I'm telling you, he's not going to. Well, it's like, you know, when you hear about these government officials, usually they start off with their best foot, and like I see him trying to be like the tough guy, and maybe he thought that's what he needs to be, but he really showed a different side of him that he shouldn't have showed, especially trying to run for a government official. Like you're trying to tell people not to search for a child that's missing. And by the way, I want to say this to Chad Bianco. I went back and listened, and I'm going to say this, and maybe I should put myself on the big screen so you guys can see my big old face, my big old pie hole. See, I think it's the box, because I'm moving my mouse, and it's not allowing my camera to run or my mouse to work. I think it's the box. So I'll have to go back to a different configuration. This stuff here, I think, is the box. Okay. Let me quit moving my mouse so you guys can see me on the camera. That's exactly what it is. Watch this. Watch what I'm going to move my mouse, and you're going to start seeing me hiccup. I'm going to start moving my mouse. There, I'm moving my mouse, and you see my lips not moving right. So it's the box. So I found out one of the problems. Okay. I went back and looked at all those original videos, okay? I did. And this is what I found out. It was Jake and Rebecca that asked the whole entire community to help them look for their son. Because Chad Bianco, with all of his pissed offness and his poor behavior and his absolutely showing nothing that would make anybody want to hire him as the governor of his state, he's yelling at the public for searching for Emmanuel, right? Well, the parents, and they even talked about the press conference as the reason why they were doing this press conference. No, they were doing this press conference because Rebecca and Jake did their first press conference. Remember that comment? It's at the very beginning of the press conference where Mike Hestrin, DA Mike Hestrin, decided to say, you know, we're doing our press conference because they wanted to do their press conference first. So we thought we would make fire with fire. Right? So they did this press conference, and one of the things that they had stated was advising them of the press conference they did. Well, that press conference they did, they asked for everyone to help search for their child. You guys remember that? Raise your hand if you remember. They asked everybody, please search for our boy. He's been, search, right? So everybody got out there. Everybody started searching. I went back and I checked. So Chad Bianco, this is Bullhorn Betty. Let me school you. Chad Bianco. Not one officer, not one report, not one news article said, public, stop searching, right? Not one of you. Not even you, Chad Bianco. Not one of you people told the public to stop searching. Everybody was out there searching because when we started our search, it was because this child was abducted and the mother was beaten out in a parking lot of the Big Five. And that's when Emmanuel got on all of our radars, and Ahmed went out there and started searching for him because that's what was being stated on all social media and all mainstream media. You know, those people you gave a pat on the back? Not one officer came to the public and said, please stay out of our area. Please don't search for this boy. Not one. So the next time you want to have that pissing contest and saying, oh, the only people that should be searching, maybe you should open that pie hole that was so rudely opened and maybe say something like, hey guys, thank you for all your help, but this case is no longer an abducted child, and we need everybody to stay out of the area and stay out of our way. Thank you. Where's that press conference? Where's that news release? Where is it? Because I searched for it, Chad Bianco, and I didn't see it. So I'm hopeful that if you are a man, a reasonable man, I pray to God that you can reach out to Ahmed and apologize to him. You don't have to apologize in public, but you were wrong. And so were you, Mike Hestron, when you blamed social media for talking about the Perkins operation or this alleged confession. On the backside of you saying, we love mainstream media, you guys get it right. Shame on you, social media. Well, lo and behold, the news came from mainstream media. The news came from mainstream media. So, Mike Hestron, you owe social media in general, that broad brush you painted, you owe us an apology. You owe us an apology. We can appreciate what you're doing for Emmanuel, but we're not going to have you be disrespectful when we all come from a good place and tried to help after being asked to help. After being asked and requested, the whole entire public, for help. And not one officer said, hey, we don't need your help. Don't come. Don't search. Damn it. I hate when that happens. Come on. Yeah, we're going to have to do... I didn't want to do that. I might get 2 of them. I might get 2 boxes. I like the box. I like the box, but I don't like this hinky shit that it's doing to me with the box on. So if you guys don't know what I have an accessory box because I'm running everything from my mouse to my sound box to my camera. It's all being ran by accessories. Okay? I have an external sound card. I've got an external camera. I've got an external microphone that you guys can't see. Can you guys see it? There it is. See, you guys can see it? All this stuff is being ran through accessories. And if I move this box, I'll probably shut the show down. But I got myself a new box because I had 2 of these little things like this on both sides of the computer and wires were just everywhere. So I thought I would condense and get one big box that had like 1 in 16 in it. Well, I didn't realize it's not going to run all of my stuff at one time, that it shares the stuff. So every time I move my mouse, which is an independent mouse, when I use my mouse, it jams up my camera. It can't run the camera and the mouse at the same time. Okay, so we're finding this out on a show. Yay, love it. Love new stuff. Yeah. So that's where we're at today, guys. So I think I'm going to have to do the split. I'm going to have one on one side and one on the other. This do the sound card, this do the mouse, this do the camera and the external and the second screen. I got 2 screens. Actually, I bought another screen too. We're going to actually be rolling with 3 screens here in the office. Well, that's if I can get all of it powered. I'm obviously having some technical issues all over the place. It's like, I try to make the experience better. I buy stuff to make the experience better, and then I find these hinky crap that goes on with the stuff that I buy. And so now I got to buy 2 of everything, one on one side of the computer and one for the other side of the computer. What is going on? I think I'm going to end up having to buy a desktop and build, like, literally a desktop and just do it. Just do it, right? I've been running this show from a laptop, and I just don't think the processor in my laptop can handle all the crap that we got running through the system. I think I need a computer. I think I need a real computer. Oh, no. Oh, no. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the rest of them until later tonight. I should be back here probably about 6 or 7. So we might actually have, we'll have a live anywhere from 6 to probably 9. 9's probably going to be my latest. I'll start because most of our, especially with all the cases we've been covering, as you know, I'm not doing 1-hour shows anymore. I'd like to go back to 1-hour shows. I'd like to go to 3 1-hour shows like I was doing before, but now I'm doing like 2 shows at 3 hours a piece. So I I'm just saying. I hope you guys love it. And thank you all again. Another round of applause. We have a secret project that we just fully funded in 2 days. I mean, it was one of the smaller projects we do. It was $400, but I know your money, you guys have families and everything like that. And I was coming to you guys without giving you a whole lot of information. I needed you guys kind of to trust me for it. I know you guys will be very thankful once it's said and done. You guys will be happy with it, with the project itself. And I think it's money well spent on an emotional level. I really do. Now, if we were to say, is this really the best way to spend money? No, probably not. But when is any of our projects really, they're emotional, okay? All of our projects are emotional, no matter what it is. When we had to fly out to Idaho, it was emotional. You guys funded that trip because you were emotional. So we do a lot of emotional spending here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, but this is one of the smaller emotional spending projects that we're doing. And again, we will know where this project lies. It's going to be more than 30 days, folks, because like I said, I thought I was giving us 2 weeks to save the money, to get the money, raised, but we did it in 2 days. It's going to be over 30 days before you'll know about what this project money is for. But I think you guys will like it. I think, like I said, I think whenever you guys know where the money went and what it was utilized for, I think you guys are going to give a standing ovation. I really do. If I miss it out of the park, then I guess it's a lesson learned. I guess we'll have to look at the silver lining at that point, but I'm absolutely confident because I know how my audience is, my true blue audience. I know how you guys are, and I know you guys are going to absolutely say, yep, and yep. So thank you guys. We've got this project under wraps, and I will make sure that you guys, trust me, you guys will be the first to know once it's rolled out. So it'll be rolled out. I wish I could tell you when, but it'll ruin the surprise. It'll ruin the surprise if I tell you guys now. But you guys are going to love it. So give yourself a round of applause again. Thank you for all you beautiful people. I would not be able to do what I do without my audience. That's just all there is to it. It is a team effort. It is a labor of love for all of us. These cases just keep going. It's the saddest part for me as a content creator to feel like we're not moving the needle. We're not moving the needle in this area. And I feel like we are, because I feel like for the first time, people are talking about trafficking. I feel for the first time that we will start hearing about the deficiencies in our child services here, our Department of Children and Family Services. Sorry, I was getting stuck. But I truly believe we are making an impact, but these things take so long of just constant every day, sound like a freaking broken record. I know some of you guys come in here and it's like, Betty, you just said that yesterday. Well, yeah, of course we did, but it's just the repetition, day in and day out. Like, I feel like the reason why Hawkins County still has Ronnie Lawson is because we just didn't do enough to expose the sheriff. We were already out of the case before we found out about his son. We just didn't do enough. And we did a lot. We did a lot. We were there literally every 2 months for a year. We did a lot for that case, and it just wasn't enough. And so it's really from that point forward. Actually, it was really from Ronnie Lawson, from the point that I realized he really did try to hide, because his son was going through all of this when we were doing public record requests into his family. He was literally withholding the information from us, like corrupt. And again, Tennessee. I'm sick of this crap coming from Tennessee. You're not hearing me say I'm sick of this crap coming from California. I think it's because we've been sick and tired of saying that for freaking longer than we've been saying we're sick and tired of this coming from Tennessee. But at the end of the day, we're sick and tired of this crap coming out of Tennessee. Tennessee at some point is going to have to say, we are doing it wrong. Something is going on. We're not doing this right. We don't have, I don't even think they have centralized training. I think that a police officer trained in Oneville is different than the training they're getting in Tuville. That should be all consistent throughout the entire state. Everybody should be handling and conducting their business exactly the same. And they're not. Everybody has different degrees of training in what they're training in. They have poor policing practices in there that aren't unified. And that is the biggest problem in Tennessee right now, in addition to the fact that they need to be increasing the penalties on their laws because you've got real city problems in your rural counties. We can no longer have rural policies anymore. All the dealers, all the cartels, they're moving out in those country. They're not doing their business in cities anymore. They're having their mules take the stuff from the country into the cities. You guys are having the real world problems in your backyard, in those mountain regions. We need law enforcement. We need the government of Tennessee to stand up and recognize the problems that they have there and start finding solutions to fix it. Every time I have a child missing in Tennessee, my eyes roll, especially if I hear TBIs involved. Because usually the cases that I'm tuned into have elements that say something happened to these children. So when something in the children aren't just above, ground, TBI is great finding people. They're great finding people that are truly lost. They're terrible at finding children that are deceased or have been missing because of their parents. They have poor record for that. Very poor. They have a very poor record of circumstantial cases. That tells me right there that they do not have DAs that are equipped or have the mindset. You have to have a mindset for those type of cases. So that means that all the DAs have got to start being replaced around the state of Tennessee, because in 2025, there is no good excuse why a state still does not have circumstantial no body cases or a decent history of no body cases. That tells me that they're ignorant and they're ill-equipped to deal with actual evidence or understanding the circumstantial and how to take that evidence in a circumstantial fashion and build a case. That's ignorance. That's ignorance of the highest level in Tennessee. So I'm seeing these things. I'm seeing these behaviors. I've looked at their history. I know these things are existing. And we got people running for governor in the state of Tennessee that are failing to address this issue and want the kumbaya moment of saying, oh, how wonderful Tennessee is. Except for the children that keep going missing there, that they keep sticking their head in the sand about. But hey, it's a great place to raise a family. Just make sure you put, tracking devices on your kids and implant them into the bone so somebody can't cut them out, because that's what you're going to need to live in Tennessee. Until the government starts making changes to their laws to protect the most vulnerable of their state and giving laws to their policemen to work easier, not harder. That has to come from the top, and they ain't doing enough. They ain't doing enough. All right, guys, take that with a grain of salt. That's my opinion. Those are my thoughts. That's my 2 cents. Don't spend it all in one spot. I will get this whole show worked out today now that I'm using new equipment and I realize the faultiness of my new equipment. We will be getting it all addressed for tonight, and we're going to have to probably do some test runs and sound checks tonight on the show when we set up, just to make sure everything's working back the way it's supposed to be working, folks. So I love you guys. Have a great day. God bless you. Rock it out until we get back. So you're free to go. Thank you for your time.